Hello, everyone, and welcome to a proper intro of Drop Frames. If you're watching this on YouTube or on VOD, we just watched the PS5 GDC thing for an hour. I don't even know what to call that.
It was so good.
Rami loved it. It was a developer-centric thing. Me and Zeke, but we didn't understand anything. And apparently some numbers were announced, and it's going to be a little faster. That's our take on it, right, Zeke? Take it away.
Well, yeah. What were the big bullet points from that that video? I want Rami to dumb it down, give us, for the layperson, what did we just watch?
Also, before you do that, Rami, Co's internet's gone, so we have an ass in place of him. It works. Rami, go ahead.
I think what was interesting was they're clearly caveating a lot of the numbers. I think in comparison with Xbox, some people might think that PlayStation might not be quite as powerful. A lot of what they talked about is how they're really trying to create custom architecture that developers can use to get more out of lower numbers or equal numbers. The other thing that I thought was interesting is they're really pushing for audio, and I think that's going to be a huge deal.
Yeah.
Audio in games is it's big. It's really hard to overstate just how big audio is, because you kind of listen to it and you go, "Oh, this works fine," but if you know the limited resources we're working with, it's pretty abysmal. So that seems pretty big as well. Besides that, it's kind of what you expect: bigger, faster, quieter. The loading thing, the SSD, the way they're going to load stuff, that's going to allow for entirely new types of games. It's going to basically revolutionize level design. It's going to allow people to do very different things with how games play, how games move, how fast you can move in a game.
Sure.
I'm up for huge world sandbox vanquish. Basically, that's all I want. If they don't give that to me, PlayStation 5's dead to me. But besides that, I'm very excited.
Great. Okay. PS5's dead. Is what I got from that. Go ahead, Zeke.
We've often heard talk about certain games that are graphically intensive that came out to PC first, and they get console ports later, and we're like, how the fuck are they going to do this on console? And the one graphical smooth movement, fast movement game that I always go back to, that because I have experience with it, is Warframe. Warframe is super graphically intensive, especially when considering how quickly you move from place to place. And do you think that it's going to be, well, I mean, I was going to say it can't be 1-to-1, but can it be 1-to-1 as far as how quickly you can move and how fast the graphics render and all that shit?
I mean, technically, the thing they're releasing now will be on par with a lot of high-end computers, right?
Current high-end computers. But
yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. Does that mean that PCs then are just going to up the ante even more in the next generation of GPUs and all that shit?
That's obviously the idea. The idea is that PCs are always going to be ahead. The difference between console and PC is that on console we have full understanding and control of the stack. So from top to bottom, we know everything that's in there. We can optimize 100% for that. So we can make it run at exactly the frame rate we need, or as close as possible.
Sure.
Because we know every piece of it. On PC, you have a lot of customization because we just don't. We have no idea, right? So I think that's usually the biggest. People always compare it as is PC more powerful, is console more powerful? You can do things on a console compared to a PC of equal power that you could not do on that PC.
Right, because the hardware is built for the console, and the PC hardware is built for more than just games.
And also, we don't know what the computer is, right? We just know it's a computer. There's a CPU, there's a graphics card. We hope they work together well. This stuff is all custom made to be precisely good at what games need. And some of the stuff they're doing is new even for PC. Right? Some of the hard drive stuff they're doing is not stuff that we have on PC now. So assuming it works well on PlayStation, that'll be on PC in a year, right? But I think the interesting thing here is less that whether PC is going to be ahead of console, because in the end it's always going to be. I think the interesting thing is, okay, now that the lowest common denominator is so far up and like on par or beyond high-end computers, what kind of stuff are people going to make that we just couldn't make before? Like No Man's Sky was, remember No Man's Sky where we're like, oh shit, you can go from like space to Earth? Like,
that's more possible than ever in terms of fully realizing that idea. Yeah,
the amount of like warlock magic they had to do to pull that off is just evaporated. I mean, it's still hard, but also.
Well, in terms of, I remember maybe that was last E3 or the E3 before that, there was, during the PC gaming conference, there was like the 1,500 man BR. That type of stuff is actually doable now by like the Call of Duties of the world, right? With this hardware type of bump. And the fact that they could load in that many more people, network, of course, permitting, and everything was permitting. Yeah. So it's interesting to see that type of stuff and to see that type of stuff be possible. Is exciting.
Would a 1,500 player battle royale be fun?
Probably not. It'd be a mess.
Probably not.
The world would have to be massive, right? It'd have to be a fucking massive world.
Or what if it was just fucking tiny?
You just got a sword and you had to cut your way through like hordes of bodies.
Just Dynasty Warrior style, but it's like basically a bathroom with 1,500 people in it.
Yeah, I mean, Mag had what?
Throwing bows in the pit.
Yeah, there you go. It's just that. So yeah, it's the type of stuff where I feel like that was. I mean, we'll kind of get into a little bit of the coronavirus conversation here, but because GDC was canceled, they had to put that out, and so it wasn't necessarily meant for general consumers to digest, but since everyone right now is starved for information due to self-quarantine or quarantine or whatever, they want any information they can get that's new and exciting. Plus, everyone's been wanting more information from Sony on the PS5 because, you know, there's been so many leaks and stuff like that people have put in a lot of credibility into. And yeah, so I'm not sure that was the most exciting thing, obviously, for consumers to jump into, and they didn't really show that much or talk about that much new information.
I think this is the way this normally would get like disseminated is it would be at GDC, there would be press in the room, the press would interview developers there about what Mark just said, and that would be like nicely digestible articles. Right. When you think about it, they're not that far behind Xbox on the way they're announcing. Right, like the Xbox specs announcements are just like pretty recent. So, I need to think what parts of everything are announced before I say stupid stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So the Xbox announcements were pretty recent. So this coming like back to back is, they seem pretty even. I like that PlayStation seemed to do the sneaky like we're always one step after Xbox. With a lot of how they're announcing stuff, like it's kind of cute. They're just like letting Microsoft go first, and they go like, "Well, cool, we got this." Worked well for them on PlayStation 4, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think?
Might as well try again.
And you might actually know the answer to this, so I guess this potentially might be an unfair question. But how much of it is Sony responding to what Xbox is doing, and how much of it is Sony just doing what Sony wants to do?
Well, I can tell you how they did that on PlayStation 4.
Sure.
Because on PlayStation 4, I know that a lot of stuff was probably more responsive than people thought. Like, I think a lot of decisions were made pretty last minute there. But I don't think, like, for the hardware, obviously, stuff gets locked down. Like, nothing in the hardware is a response to, like, they're both, it's like they're playing, like, the weirdest version of Battleship. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna point at this, and then we hope they're gonna focus on that, and like we'll differentiate ourselves this way. I think Microsoft has been catching up on a lot of stuff that they really sucked at last generation, especially on like having studios. Because I don't know what happened there. Like, genuinely don't know what happened there. They were so good at just having quality games out there. And I like the new Gears game. And Sea of Thieves is pretty good from what I understand. But
yeah, first party was rough this generation,
it
without a
just
doubt.
how does this like the I don't know. I'm very upset about it because it's like this like the platform of it was my first console was an Xbox 360. I never was able to afford a console.
Yeah.
Like this is like Halo and Gears and like all these big like epic and just kind of didn't. So I'm excited to see them go like, oh yo, we messed this one up pretty big. Let's do better this time. And they've been buying good studios, like
They bought a shit ton of studios.
and good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Double Fine was the most recent one. Is that accurate? Was there? I think that was
Double
the most
Fine,
recent one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On top of everyone else that they've grabbed.
And then their producer went to PlayStation. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they have Ninja Theory, and I mean a bunch of studios that were effectively already like Xbox studios, but now are like actually Xbox studios and more integrated in the process. So excited for Xbox. The problem is that the problem right now, the way I'm seeing, is that PlayStation was ahead of Microsoft because of the games.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
First party stuff for sure.
And it seems that they're aware of that, and they're going to keep pushing that. But first party can only release that many games, right?
I mean, they kind of have their last hurrah for the generation this year with Last of Us, and then Ghost of Tsushima, and is that the last big game? There's one more big game, I think, after that. Chat, what's
I releasing something? Yeah, I'm releasing something. I don't think you mean that one, but
when does your game come out, Rami?
Buy Ultrabugs when it comes out. People.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. No, isn't it Ghost of Tsushima?
That's June.
Now he's saying it like you are, JP. God damn it!
He's saying it the correct way. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima.
What's the big deal, guys? That's the name of the game. I don't make these names up. They title them. Don't get angry at me.
I'm so sorry to any developer working on that game.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you've ever,
I can't wait to eat that game as well, Max. Go ahead.
If you've ever belched after having Japanese food, you know what the Ghost of Tsushima is. Took a long way for that joke, but I think it nailed. I think that's a good one. It landed pretty well.
That's a good one.
No.
That's a good one.
So good games.
I struggled through this comment because I thought that he was saying that I needed my insulin, but instead he said, "You realize you're insulting a whole island, JP." I thought he said, "You realize you're insulin a whole island." That was a struggle to get through. Let's move on.
Yeah. Anyway, what is the other game? I don't think there is another game.
Well, there's Final Fantasy on April. Final Fantasy 7 on April 10th, and then
Cyberpunk.
Last of Us 2 in May. Cyberpunk's multi-plat though. We're talking like first party stuff for
Isn't Final Fantasy multi-plat?
I think and then Ghost is June something or other. June 10th or June 20th, something like that. Persona 5 Royale. That's soon though. I'm thinking, what is the last first party PlayStation game for the generation? It's probably Ghost of
Yeah, Ghost.
It's Ghost.
Yeah.
It's Ghost.
Which looks gorgeous. You know that Ghost is just the kind of game where you look at it, you're like, somebody figured out how we can make a leaf rustle really nicely.
Yeah.
And then somebody just built a game around that. That's 100% what happened there.
I have my 100%. Not worries, but I'm curious to see what that game actually is, because it's open world, but it's a stealth game, or it appears to be a stealth open world game, which Assassin's Creed, I guess, is what most people would say that is similar to, but Assassin's Creed is not a stealth game. Assassin's Creed is a platformer which you stab people in under the guise of being a stealth game. So I'm curious to see how that is, but we're a couple months out from that, so we'll see how that goes. Well, in terms of actual game, and what were we gonna say before I took it somewhere else, Rami? I don't want to interrupt.
I don't know. I think it's just interesting that what we're seeing is they've basically leveled out on hardware. Like they're just in agreement. Like architecture Like the core architecture of it is very similar. It'll be great for developers porting between platforms because they're effectively just really cool PCs.
Yeah.
Which thank God. Like when Mark went into the cell processor for a minute, I was like, "Oh boy, please don't go back to PlayStation 3 days because maybe the audio was good, but everything else
sucked." Yeah, developers hated the cell processor.
Boy,
and
I
I
had a dev kit for that thing, and I never developed anything for it. I'm like, nope, absolutely not.
Just because it was so obtrusive to actual.
I'm just like, this is bad.
Yeah,
this is just not. I mean, the workflow was terrible, but like everything was bad about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, PS4 really up their ante, and then with 5, this is looking good, looking real good. But you can see that they're distinguishing on services now. Like hardware is not going to be where this battle gets fought. Like it's not. This ain't it. This is great,
which is good. I think like that's a win for consumers, right? Where the games are the stars and not necessarily who can push more teraflops, right?
Yeah. The way it's being. I don't know, the way they're building this next gen is gonna change. It's gonna change everything, which I'm terrified of and excited for. Because from our perspective, a lot of stuff's changing, and the ground is getting really sandy. You know, like what do you call it in English? The type of sand you can sink away in.
Quicksand.
Quicksand, yeah.
Quicksand. We call it sinking sand, or like floating sand in Dutch. Drijfzand. Anyway. Yeah, so for us, it's a little strange. We don't really know what the industry is going to be like in a year. But
do you ever?
I guess.
Are you ever able to look out a year though?
We can at least guarantee that like the idea of making a game and then selling it is probably the right way of doing things.
Okay.
And this year, we're not actually sure that that's true.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of outside influence there affecting the game industry at large, right? It's not just you're not just speaking about like the console cycle and all that stuff. The world but it's also is fucking with everything.
Yeah, but also just like the way they're selling games, like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Oh, what is with that name? I yelled at everybody at Microsoft when I heard the name.
It's the XX. You can take that.
Okay.
It's the Xbox.
Anyway, I'm actually like talking about audio stuff. I'm most excited for the upgrades in audio when it comes to the PSVR, because the VR obviously is all about immersion, and if they make the sound just amazing, it's going to affect the experience of the game just exponentially. And I'm really excited to see like the new versions of like or new iterations of Tetris Effect and that kind of shit. Like that's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
I know, like I think we can't like this is the kind of thing where when they were doing VR for the first time or like HDR. And they're like making commercials of like what HDR is like, but you're watching it on your old ass TV, so you can't actually watch HDR. That's what this audio thing is going to be.
Right.
Like, we won't be able to even imagine what this sounds like until we put headphones on. If they get it right. I kind of trust Mark to not go and promote something he doesn't believe in.
He also said something to the effect of they're not using Atmos because Atmos is restricted to certain hardware that Dolby has to approve. With this, they can kind of put it out for every hardware or as much hardware as they can facilitate for. Is it? I think I get that. I think I got that correct.
Something like it. I think there's also just limitations they didn't want to be stuck with because Atmos, for how powerful it is probably still something that was built primarily for movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Games are such a different beast. And, the thing he was saying about Rain being like 3D audio sources or potentially being like 3D audio sources, that's ridiculous. That's like, dude, nobody should do that if they're making video games whatsoever. But if you could, then.
Well, it's also an interesting thing to consider the fact that like that job has never been needed within games So now they're going to have to find like audio people to make that type of stuff that has never been made before, right? Because no one's done that for games.
New jobs are coming up.
Sure,
like there's just level design jobs disappearing, and there's like audio jobs being born right now. Like there's like when I say like warlock magic earlier with like loading and streaming stuff in, like that entire like job is fading because it won't be a thing. Like managing seeks on your hard drive is not. It's not a thing anymore. Like just. Yeah.
Well, in terms of the optimization process that happens towards the end of the game, like right around going gold, what does this remove a lot of that optimization? Does the whole idea of like how loading works and all that? Okay.
Yeah, some of it. I mean, so he gave a really good example of like Spider-Man. Like a lot of this is in planning phase. A lot like you figure out how you want to optimize near the end early on. Then near the end, you do the actual optimizations, and then you see what else you can do. Right.
Gotcha.
I think in terms of how we start, like what optimizations we know we have to do, that's going to change because we won't need to. There's a lot of stuff we just don't need to worry about anymore, and that means that at the end, yeah, that'll definitely make things a little easier for a lot of developers because there's just less stuff we need to worry about.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are going to expect that we use this hardware to the max. So we're still going to be optimizing because people will want maximum performance out of this stuff.
Yeah, that takes time, right? Like the first games that we see, like launch titles on the PS5 will essentially be what tech demos are currently made for it, right? Like that. Does that line up with how games are going to be released for this and how games are always released for consoles?
I mean, when people started on the games coming out on PS5s, the PS5 like barely existed.
Yeah.
Right. The hardware didn't exist. They just kind of have this like, you know how you hear of like dev kits and like test kits and stuff like that. There's just something that's sort of like a spec kit. Yeah. It's like have this really powerful computer. This is kind of what we're aiming for. Just make it work on this, and then we'll make sure that at the other end our device is kind of that powerful.
Sure.
So yeah, this is basically tech demos. When they started on this, they didn't know full specs yet. When you listen to Mark, you realize that they didn't know full specs until quite recently. There's some stuff in there where he was very clearly being like, and I think this is probably how it's going to work out. Like they haven't run all the numbers yet. So.
Yeah, I remember specifically said something in the last year in the Wired article, they said something like 3.3 or 3.5 was what they were thinking. And now it's more along the lines of like 7.0 by the end of this year. In terms of that was God, now I'm going to mess up the jargon. I think that was the IO throughput or maybe the SS or the read speed or something like that.
Yeah, it was related to the SSD stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zeke. I'm still formulating a question in my head.
Well, I just have a question because they're going to have hard copies of games still, like the Blu-ray discs and that kind of thing. When do you think they're going to like go away from that completely, or will they ever? And follow up, what's the performance difference between using an actual Blu-ray? Because I haven't used one in so long, like an actual game with a non-digital copy, even on console. Like, is there a performance difference at all, or are they going to go away from discs?
No, the performance on disc is awful. Disc is like the worst thing to be reading from. Like a hard drive is think of it this way: a hard drive is just effectively a bunch of discs on top of each other.
Right.
You get the same problem with like seeks. You get the same problem with like reading. That's what the SSD is there to fix. They're going away from having a disk spinning and like a thing reading on the disk where the data is. Instead, it's just basically a chip that can just go, I want this spot on there, and just returns the data straight away. Right. So that's the difference. I think they'll want to do away with discs as much as possible. Like,
you can't get rid of them completely, though, just because of, at least in the US, data is not. Data is just not accessible to download, the 100 gigabyte Call of Duty, right? It just that doesn't exist. Everywhere.
Is that the reason why?
Probably. I mean, honestly, I can't think of any other reason they would keep the discs. It's an accessibility thing.
Because
It's
even
for people that
now,
don't have.
Rami, all the discs are doing is just serving as a way to download it into the console, right? That's all they do.
Yeah,
They're not reading the disc every
copy
time
as
it
much.
starts. There's just a check to see if you own the disc, to see if you own the like license for the game, and then it boots up on the hard drive.
As much as possible. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they download the day one patch, and it's still 70 gigs.
Yeah, and they still get fucked by the patch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the ability to buy the game, pre-download it, and then you're able to play it at midnight on whatever date, like, doesn't that like alleviate that? Like that, a lot of that concern about downloading, like how long it would take to download the game, because you can get it before it's actually released, but you can't play it until like the release time that time.
A lot of the issue is not necessarily speed; it's the idea that there's data caps, like monthly data caps.
Oh shit! Okay.
At least here, I mean, I'm speaking more for the U.S. The rest of the world's figured this out already for the most part.
I've never heard of a data cap. It's great.
Data caps are all over the U.S. and it
was wild when I heard about that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Speaking of this whole the pandemic thing, many tweets about ISP companies taking off data caps,
right?
And people like using that as a platform, and I'm in full agreement that the internet should be a utility,
right? And that like
I think we're all in agreement on this.
Well, right, because we're all yes, of course, it makes sense for our industry for us to be. Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms, without a doubt.
No, it makes sense for the world. Like everybody needs internet.
You're
now.
Preaching to the choir. Don't get me wrong. You're preaching.
No, I'm not saying but I'm saying like it goes beyond just our profession and our like careers, hobbies, whatever.
Right. Yeah, without a doubt. So I know that a lot of major ISPs in the U.S. have already removed their data caps because of the fact that
because it means they can just do it.
Right.
Exactly.
There was never a technical thing that went like, "Yo, we can't do this."
There's a lot of stuff that means that they could just do it. Like if we really want to get into the politics right now of the US, it's kind of ridiculous. But yes, yeah.
It was just when I saw like a bunch of stuff happening right now, and they're just like, "We're just stopping this," and I'm like, it's just, like they halted rent in like France, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean
if you can do that,
it's really hard to not get into politics, but they're literally pulling money out of their ass that 5 days ago said they didn't have. So a lot of things can happen on a dime.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with.
Yeah,
I agree with the chat. I want to know what Co has to say about this.
Yeah, Cody, you have any thoughts? No thoughts.
No thoughts.
I would play a hee-haw noise, but I don't know who owns it, and I'd probably get DMCA'd for it. So, unfortunately, jackasses don't own their own noises in 2020. You have to be careful with that.
Well,
I once got in trouble for a photo of the Eiffel Tower.
Sure, someone owns that photo.
So it turns out the Eiffel Tower is not copyrighted because it's old, but the light show at the top at night, that's a visual trademark. You apparently can't just take a photo of it.
Sure,
that's real stuff.
Look, man, when a pharmaceutical company is suing a 3D printer that saves someone's lives, I believe anything these days. Like we've reached some fucking crazy shit. We've reached.
This world,
I just picture it like this. This is the analogy that came to my head. It's like, all right, we have a way to fit garbage men with a ray gun that completely disintegrates your garbage. No need to take it to the dump. No need to recycling.
Yeah.
But we're only going to do it right now. As soon as this pandemic's over, we're going to go back.
We're going back. It's more cost efficient. We make more money the other way. So we're going to go back.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, let's bring that into kind of the gaming world, Rami. Everything's canceled. Literally everything's being canceled right now.
We have no idea what to do.
Like what happens? Do these consoles even come out this year?
I mean, they seem like they're still trying to. But everything is impacted, right? Like the production processes are affected.
Yeah. The hardware processes are affected because no one's able to go into offices. Yeah.
Shipping is affected. Software development is affected. The studios are working from home. I'm trying to find the word that I wanted to say, but I just complete the pipeline. Production pipelines are affected.
Yeah.
All of this is bad for games. Like, I will say, from what I can tell, the revenue in games is up over the last few days, which I guess is good for the games industry, but that's literally the only good thing, and it comes from people having nothing to do with their lives.
It's one of the only industries that is kind of flourishing right now. But eventually that's going to
games
stop, I think.
Like CSGO had the most concurrent users, Steam had the most active people on it, like in their histories, and shit like that during this thing. So
we're reaching some definitive historic numbers for all that stuff. Yeah.
For everybody in the chat, we realize at Vlambeer, that y'all might be stuck in home for a long time. We made Nuclear Throne $1 on Steam for today, for yesterday and today, and it's free on itch.io if you want to grab it. If you're bored, grab those games. We would set the discount to 100%, but if we put it higher than 90, Steam yells at us.
There you go.
I had no idea that Steam has a discount cap. Steam has a discount cap.
Of course it does. They got to make their buck.
No, that's true. They need to make money.
Yeah. It's an interesting time for games for sure.
But yeah, the marketing, every marketing campaign is thrown off. Sony having to release a GDC talk as a public video.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. I like that they did it. I'm into it, but I don't think anybody knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is good or bad for E3. That's the only one I haven't figured out yet.
Well, that's kind of the next step is what are your thoughts on E3 no longer existing this year?
Just the death of E3.
Potentially, right? Like, I mean, that's where the question goes. Like, was this the nail in the coffin for E3 as we know it?
So it's one or the other. Either they got really lucky in that this what sounded like an absolute clusterfuck of an E3 isn't happening. Right? It sounded bad. Honestly, everything about it sounded bad. And them having a year to get their stuff together and maybe like do a better show next year or figure out at least what they want to be next year. That could work really well.
Yeah.
The alternative is we all realized this year we really don't need E3 and that it's dead.
Well, that's the fear, right? Like if it is all going digital, there will probably be like a week of digital conferences with potentially no audience in them and all that stuff. Probably. No one's out there saying that they are definitively doing that. At least in terms of what it is, and it goes well. Like, why would you as a company put out more money to do something that you don't necessarily need to next year when you've seen that it's worked, right? Except if you want the extra hoopla around your event, right? Like, if you want to bring the fucking circus to town and get people to write about there was a circus in town, you can do that, but you don't necessarily need to do that. You can just put it all on the internet and do a digital stream or a digital conference, right? So
I love that it was Devolver who broke that E3 was canceled.
Yeah.
Do you all know the war between Devolver and E3?
Well, they're not allowed inside, so they took out the parking lot, right? Like that's the story behind it.
They were absolutely allowed inside. They just didn't want to be inside because it's expensive.
Oh, okay, because the show floor is pricey.
Well, and they like this story I got like a couple years ago was that they rented out the parking lot across the street from E3, but the lot in front, like, okay, there was a lot that's right on the street across the street from E3.
Yeah. And
they rented the lot that was next to it. Because E3 bought the lot in front of them and put like semi-trailers in front to block their fucking
buses there.
Really?
To block their fucking lot off. So that's why the Devolver balloon is a thing. It's like so it floats above the fucking shit so everybody can see where they're
year over year
set up outside.
Escalated. It was so good.
It was that intense.
First year was just a lot across. And second year the buses were there. Third year they brought the balloon. Fourth year Devolver killed E3 by announcing their cancellation before E3 announced the cancellation.
I saw that.
I think it's brutal. I was excited to see what the plan this year was. Like, The balloon
Yeah.
was just the greatest thing because I was standing on the lot as they were inflating it, and I'm just like, "What the hell are you doing?" And they're like, "We think E3 is just going to park a bunch of buses in front of our lot again, so we thought we'd get a balloon." And I'm like, "Wait, what? How big is this balloon? This balloon is huge.
Oh,
This is like
man.
the largest thing."
That's great. That's good stuff.
Uh,
So yeah, I guess we'll have to see what happens in June. I'm assuming that type of conversation should start spinning up here pretty soon, in terms of what companies are doing and what they plan to do. Do you think we see full console announcements at a digital event around June?
yeah,
Is that still
yeah.
kind of the timeline?
I think they're still going to go through with their schedules. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good reason to not do it.
Yeah.
Like these marketing campaigns are, they're a little flexible, but in terms of the sort of cadence of it, it's kind of set in stone. Like default, like developers now, consumers soon, game hype after, and then up to launch, like full on marketing blasts around the world. Like that's set. Like that, they're doing that cadence. So if you have a moment where everybody in the world is waiting, one of them is going to go. If one of them is going to go, the other has to go.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just have Xbox do it and then PlayStation being like, we'll tell you in a month. Like it's just that ain't going to happen. So
Sure.
I think it'll just be same schedule. I honestly think we'll barely notice E3 isn't happening.
I hope so.
Because
I mean, I think the contractors that work E3 will definitely notice that it's not happening because that revenue's gone.
I mean, that's true for the entire world though at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Any physical labor will notice that it's not there because it's not going to be taking place, unfortunately.
The worst thing about E3 is so much better when you're not at E3. It's just weird. Like
as someone who's never gone, I could totally agree with that. But I've never gone, so I don't know if the grass is greener on the other side.
You miss everything.
While
you're just on the
E3?
show floor. Yeah, you're just like running from thing to thing, and like everybody on Twitter is like, "Yo, did you see this?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "The thing they just announced." I'm like, what is happening right now? And then I have to get like the 15-minute like summary of all the stuff everybody was hyped for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, E3 is not the best event to be at.
Zeke, you've covered. I mean, we talked a little bit about this, but you've done coverage of E3 every year since I've known you. It feels like this will be the first one you get to kind of cover from home. If there is, we keep saying E3, but it's not going to be an E3. It's going to be a stream week or something. I don't know what they're going to call it. I would assume they try to put it under one shell to try to keep that hype there, but. Does that worry you? Are you excited? Are you just as excited? Like, what are your thoughts on all of it? Being that you won't physically be there anymore this year.
No, I'm not as excited at all. It was definitely a highlight of my year because not only did I got to watch all of the conferences, but in between conferences from day to day, I would get to sit down with like legends. It was the time that I got to meet the biggest names, my heroes of the industry and stuff like that, and just nerd out about new shit that's coming out and ask them all the fucking questions that I would ask as not only like someone who was hosting for Twitch, but as a fucking gamer that I'd want to know. And especially we had to fill up a lot of time in between because we had full days every day of E3. And so we get everybody, like we interview almost everybody on every game that was released and stuff. And I was the indie guy and I got to interview all of the indie people. And they're always my favorite people to interview because it's them that usually come that made the game. Sometimes, and even maybe the majority of times, when it's a AAA or the like, or a big release, they'll send someone who is PR,
right,
and that kind of thing, which is fine. Like I've interviewed a few people like time and time again for different games just because they're the PR for their publishing company. But to sit down with someone who is just watching them, like they're nervous, they're like their first time here, and this like their baby, they're showing off this child that they made, they sweated over, they gave birth to, and just watching them like talk about it is
Well,
it's
yeah.
like the most magical thing you can see. It
It
really
is.
is.
The producer talk
Terrifying.
is like that's the stuff that plays well from E3, right? Is when you get the what was the EA Unravel with Yarny? That dev was the most
Yeah.
recent one that comes to mind. Like having them go up on stage and, like Zeke just said, like shitting their pants as they're talking about their labor of love in front of an audience they've never been in front of that size. Yeah, that's the magical parts of E3 without a doubt.
It's really scary as a developer. Like, I don't think, have we ever done something on live on a stream, Zeke? I don't think so.
No,
Well,
I
except
don't
for
think.
these.
I don't think.
No.
I'm not sure if we've had like
Maybe like a PAX back when Twitch was at PAX years ago.
No, I don't think so. I know I used to host an indie segment for Twitch like
Really?
years ago. And it like every indie that would sit down, I'd be like, "Yo, I'm on your side. Like I'm an indie dev. Like anything you don't want me to like. Is there like shit that's like, is there shit that's broken that I need to not do or like?
Yeah.
Because you sit down and you're like, I know there's this fucking bug. If they press this fucking button, like shit's
That's-
gonna break.
God.
And they're just all just sitting there, just like, don't press the button, don't press the button, don't. Like, and talking is scary. Talking is really scary, especially if you've never been in front of a camera and you're like, where do I look? Where do I sit? Where do I
Talking
put
and
my-
playing is even scarier. That's why they don't
You know
do that
what?
anymore. They have someone that plays the game, but then they have someone that talks while someone else plays the game.
Where to put your hands is scary. You're just sitting there. You're like, where do I put my hand? Like, do I put them on my lap?
Yeah.
Wait, does it look like I'm touching my crotch? Let me put them like a little low.
I used to
No,
tell everyone to
like,
do this
cross.
so that they are
Yeah.
reluctant to do anything else with their hands, to sit like this.
Yeah.
So that your hands are like forcibly interlocked with one another so you can't do something else. And if you start to like go and use your hands to talk, put them back at this. Have a resting spot. Because it's awkward. The whole thing is awkward.
And they start speaking and you like mess up your own name or something. You're like, I'm Rami Ismail at Vlambeer. And it's just,
Hi, I'm Zeke. Nice to meet you, Rami. That's Wait, I mean, my name's I'm JP. Nice to meet you. Yeah, that type of stuff. Yeah, it happens.
I pulled that on Steve Gaynor. You know Steve Gaynor from Gone Home?
I've heard the name. I don't think I've ever met.
I met him at a DICE. He made Gone Home. Like, loved that game. Very impressed by it. He worked on BioShock before that. Minerva's Den.
Yeah.
And when I met him, he's this very nice Portlandian dude. And I don't know many Portlandian people, but the impression I have from Portland is that they can't get really angry or something. Like the most angry I've seen anybody from Portland be is Steve, and he just kind of goes like,
okay.
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd try and see if I can like piss him off a little bit, like friendly piss him off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just introduced myself to him as Steve Gaynor, like creator of Gone Home, and he was very confused by that. I made the exact expression I did, and then I thought it would be fun to see if I can get more people to do that. So I've like over the years, I've got like hundreds of people to introduce themselves to him as Steve Gaynor, including Lawrence Spector, which turned out to be his childhood hero.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. The C badges were printed. He got interviewed on Polygon, where the interviewer started with, "Hi, this is Steve Gaynor. I'm the creator of Gone Home. I'm viewing Steve Gaynor." And his expression is like the funniest thing I've ever seen when he realizes.
Does he get upset, or does he understand that like it's a goof?
No. He understands it's a goof by now. But he just goes like this. That's the angriest he got. He got me back actually. He won that one. He won that joke. I played for 3 years. I even got like GDC even printed, like, when you have a badge that you can have those little ribbons under it.
Yeah. With
like your status. Even got Steve Gaynor once printed. I own mistevegaynor.com. Like, I went hard on this joke.
Sure.
This fucker, I visited him in Portland, right? I went to Fulbright, the studio that made Gone Home, and he gave me a super limited edition of Gone Home signed by the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
And they all signed it as Steve Gaynor.
That's like, fucking brilliant.
That's pretty good.
Fucking most useless limited edition of Gone Home I've ever seen. It is really good, but yeah, he won that one.
That's pretty good.
3 years.
Man, I
That's a good one.
got mad respect for you going the extra mile
Yeah.
for a joke, man. That's great shit.
It's good.
I have it like right there. It just says Steve Gaynor.
You don't even like showing it off. It's like, it's there. It taunts me. It reminds me not to go
3
too
years.
crazy every year.
3 years of my life, man.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's kind of the state, I guess, of the gaming industry, but it's hard to talk about anything, I think, without, at least for me, it is. I don't know how easy it is for you guys, without kind of the ramifications of the coronavirus coming into play. It is affecting the Twitch world, but it's kind of like, Zeke, we were talking about this the other day. It's somewhat beneficial to us since we can still continue working, and people need stuff to watch. But it's not at the same time because everyone's streaming now, because no one goes anywhere. So if you're a streamer and you streamed before and you know how to stream, you just stream. And so there's more streams for people to choose from. So it's not as,
I had the same like reaction that you did when people were starting to self-isolate. It's like, well, on the upside, like, I'm probably going to gain more viewers. It's going to be great. It's like, nah, dude. Like, the people who would have been traveling are home streaming.
Yeah.
Like, the people who are home from work that always wanted to try starting streaming, probably doing that now, probably using this as an opportunity to do that. And I say, like, fucking awesome. More power to you. But like, it was kind of like a shock to go like, oh, my numbers didn't go up. In fact, they're kind of a little bit down.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah.
Then I thought about it and went, fuck it, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then we have the problem of the people watching you aren't playing games. So we also have a lot of games that are down because people are just watching stuff.
Right.
Which is interesting as well.
There is a unique case though of like more unique streams are popping up. Like I know, for example, the music side of Twitch is, well, the music side of streaming, really, when it comes to streaming out stuff, is kind of exploding right now because like artists can't perform, right? They don't have a stage. You can't do a performance, but you can turn on a stream and perform that way. So like Dropkick Murphys last night performed and streamed their thing on St. Paddy's Day, and I think they had, I don't know, probably across all the different platforms. There's only like 20K on Twitch, but they had like 400,000 or 500,000 people watching them for their performance. Diplo was on the front page last night. He was just streaming from his living room while like spinning a set, and he had like 15,000, 20,000 people watching. I know that Rolling Stones is interviewing Megan Linus, who is one of the smaller kind of like pillars, I guess, of the music world on Twitch. Because so many people are getting interested in watching performances on Twitch. So that type of stuff is really interesting to see, like certain categories and subsets of the streaming world start to explode because no one can go out and do anything, but you can still stream. And so you can watch those performances live, which is crazy to see that actually like become a thing for sure.
I just spent like an hour earlier today watching that video of the three guys pretending to DJ on a bunch of bottles.
Oh, yeah.
The one set to like, what is it, Satisfaction? They did a new version of it, but they're all in hazmat suits.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched it for like an hour, and that's how empty my days are.
We're probably going to see...
Was it a video or was it a live stream?
I think it was a video.
No, I think this was video. Yeah.
I think it was like
if they did it as a live stream, I'd watch that though. I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah.
My month and a half coming up was travel. Right? Like I blocked it out. I have no like major things of work I need to do. Like I'm giving myself work to like stay sane because I don't know how to deal with this.
I know that I don't know if any other NBA teams have followed suit, but I think it was the Portland Trail Blazers streamed. So the NBA here in the U.S. is canceled. The basketball league was canceled. There are no games. Most of the sports here in the U.S. have been canceled. But I think the Trailblazers streamed, they're continuing their season as if it's still happening by playing their games in NBA 2K and putting themselves as an AI team up against the AI team that they were supposed to play on that day. And they're streaming those games out on their own channel. And it's like that type of shit where you're just kind of like, it's kind of, oh yeah, it's the Phoenix Suns. There you go. That type of stuff is like, yeah, of course. Like, of course you should do that. That's great. And and diehard fans, will go and watch Twitch for the first time. So, there's that type of stuff, which is exciting to see as someone who's been on Twitch for so long, like just new people coming to the site through means that I would have never have thought. Like basketball fans finding Twitch because their favorite team is streaming simulated matches of what would occur in the normal season for them. That shit's bizarre to me.
I think they should just hand out the cup based on that.
Yeah, I think so too. Fuck it. Give the
Let's
have a
just go.
championship game on that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it would get huge numbers, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure if they promoted it, like if the NBA got behind it and actually put some promotion to it, it definitely would. Like if I'm Twitch, I'm scrambling. Someone internally at Twitch better be scrambling to like go to the NBA and be like, can we please get like some sanctioned games, get you guys to promote this shit. We put it on the front page. It'd be great. But, who knows if that stuff will actually happen.
Well, this is a great example of necessity being the mother of invention. Like we've learned how many jobs can be done from home that we normally thought, or they were told that they couldn't, stuff like that. As a former 12-step program attendee, like the resources out there to do like live video chat meetings if you need to like keep your recovery up,
yeah,
and shit like that. Like all that stuff is it's nice to see that there is like an upside to this.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a bunch of professors like stream their academic classes on Twitch and their students tune in that way. Granted, I think most of those schools have outright just canceled courses, which is a whole nother facet that's just crazy. Yeah. I was talking to Zeke about this morning, friend of the show and longtime Twitch person, pillar, I guess you could say. DJ Wheat has been streaming every morning. He does a call-in show and he has people call in from all around the world and they just sit there and talk about like the ramifications of the coronavirus and their particular job in their particular city in their particular country. And it's super fucking interesting because people call in from like China or Italy and they'll talk about, how they're kind of seeing the other end of this or how they're in dire straits right now, in particular for those two countries. And that type of stuff is awesome because you don't get to see that stuff on like mainstream news, right? Like they're going to push whatever stories they want to push. We's just talking to people and seeing and hearing their stories in real time. He's not necessarily looking for an angle on that type of shit. So it's crazy. It's cool. I think Zeke had a good beat on that. Like the world right now needs this type of shit and it needs this type of innovation. And like a lot of it is happening on Twitch, or streaming platforms in general. I shouldn't be so quick to isolate Twitch, but it's same on like YouTube and all that type of stuff.
I think same in games, honestly, like the online multiplayer couch co-op where you can play together remotely. That kind of stuff. Like developers are just turning it on even if they haven't optimized their games, because even if you haven't optimized your game for it, you can still play together with low latency streaming and like listen to each other talk and like play a single player game, even if it's not multiplayer. Like developers are just flipping the checkbox in Steamworks and just doing like, well, I guess we support like what's it called? It's remote co-op.
I forget what the Steam name for it is, but yeah, that's cool.
That where like even if the other player doesn't own the game, they can still like play or watch you play with you.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff is huge right now, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not the remote play. It's the remote play together. Remote play together.
Okay.
That's the one.
Oh, you're right. It's hold on. I've done this before. The latency was not optimal yet.
Yeah.
But
was that due to your latency to the other person, or is it because like the connection between you two was hiccuping?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I know I was playing with someone from the UK. And we were playing a game together, and it was a couch co-op game that we were playing remote play, and it was like half a second to a second, from when he pressed or from when I pressed the jump button to when he saw it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot better than sitting alone and having nobody to play with.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's speaking outside of games, and for me, that's the biggest takeaway for all this. I kind of mentioned wheat streaming is you don't actually think about the ramifications of all this shit until someone else talks about their situation. And some of it is like dire as fuck. I had a subscriber yesterday, or 2 days ago or something like that, who said that they went to get their mail, and in their mailbox there was a letter, and it said, "Hey, I'm 92 years old. I can't go to the grocery store because I'm afraid of the virus. Can you go to the grocery store for me? I'm your neighbor that you've never met." Like,
Yeah.
That shit is crazy to hear that type of story.
Did you see Wheat? He's in chat.
I didn't. I was telling a heartfelt story, and then this fuckwad showed up. It said this shit. I'm in a meeting, and my follower just went off like 30 times. Can you chill out, drop frames? Thanks. Okay, there we go. No, keep following Wheat. Make sure that that thing keeps going off in this meeting.
I don't think I follow Weed. Let me follow Weed.
Twitch.tv. So here, we'll pull up the website. Actually, Barry, can you put it in the extension? Just a giant follow DJ Wheat button right in the center. And so everyone can just click that in real time and ruin his Twitch meeting. So,
maybe you guys can help me with this. And I don't know if, I mean, this may sound stupid, but I have so I went to Costco about, I don't know, a year ago.
Yeah.
And I try to make Costco trips like once every 6 months, and limit it to that. And then, just get a whole bunch of shit that I can have that I won't go through for a long, long time. And I actually have like one of those big like things of toilet paper, and I've had it. I'm wondering, like, is it so bad? Because I felt like I should put, like, I wanted to put like a little cardboard box, because I live on the corner of a street, like a little cardboard box with like, and just put a piece of like a roll of toilet paper on there every day, and just leave it there for someone if they want to come get it. Like,
I mean, you could go donate it.
Or, like,
you could go donate it to somewhere.
One of those little exchange libraries, but instead of like books, it's like toilet paper. Is that what, like,
you could do that too?
Like, it's kind of cute. I don't think I would trust toilet paper
that's just sitting out. That's probably a good idea. Like, if you were a normal person,
they're individually wrapped. They're individually wrapped.
Still, though, like, I would look at that and think, like,
them, yeah.
I would think, like, what, like, why is that there? I would just go donate it somewhere. There's probably plenty of shelters, or even a hospital that's running low on hospital things, toilet paper and whatnot.
I was thinking about how much this is probably going to affect how we do storytelling in games and in like narrative.
Yeah.
Because like when I was thinking about like what does the post-apocalypse look like, I never thought of toilet paper. Like, it's the first thing that comes to mind right now. Like, genuinely is. Like, I'm like, how do I portray an abandoned house?
Yeah.
Where people were like alone for like the end of the world.
Right.
Like, they probably had a lot of fucking toilet paper. They probably hoarded that stuff, like bought like 20 packs of it.
Well,
we can show how long they were stuck there by like showing how much toilet paper they ended up using.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where it's hard to think of like what stupid people are gonna do. Like, it's hard to account for stupidity, right? So, why did people go and decide to buy a shit ton of toilet paper? I don't know, because everyone else started doing it, and then people like lost their minds, right? So.
There's I
think Week got pissed and took us down. That's what happened. He was.
That's
yeah. We didn't have any issues. It was just Twitch like flickered for a second.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, this is, you know what's strange? Like, we are living history, right? This is
historic.
This is
100%.
like,
yeah.
This is in this version of our world. This hasn't happened. And on this scale and with this speed, this hasn't happened. Like, this is unlike a thing we faced before. And there's been diseases, there's been viruses before, but the size of our population, the connectivity between the continents, connectivity between people, and our general feeling of like invincibility before this started, like, you add all that up, This is a moment. Like I tweeted a thing earlier today about Mecca, which is like for
I saw
Muslims,
that.
sort of like
Yeah,
a
that was
holy
crazy.
place. That place is empty, right? I've never seen anything like it. I walked the streets earlier today. Streets here in the Netherlands are calm. Like I was at the airport yesterday to like return a rental car.
Yeah.
It's just nothing. Like parts of the world just stopped, and we're the lucky ones. And that's like, yeah, I don't know. This is definitely history.
Without a doubt. Yeah,
Um,
there's no denying that. It has never. I mean, it has happened before in terms of like an outbreak, but it's never happened where the world has shut down and people have been like stuck in their houses or will soon be stuck in their houses for months at a time. Yeah, that type of shit is never happened in this lifetime. So, and hopefully will never happen again in this lifetime. It's really.
I wonder.
weird.
I wonder what the photo is going to be.
What,
You know, like the photo that the history books will use.
Did you see that photo of the Chinese doctors on horseback going into the mountains while still wearing like surgical garb and shit? It was fucking
with the
badass.
snow?
Yes. It was
That's a good
such
photo.
a good photo. Yeah.
That's a
I
good
thought
photo.
that shit was set up.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked real crazy for sure. That would be a good one. I don't know, that photo you tweeted out, Rami, was definitely impactful if you knew. Like once you started
Mecca
posting
one?
once you started posting like what it normally looks like, I think people understood the ramifications of that. Yeah.
I can't look at that photo. It's there for like you literally. No part of me thought I would see that before the end of the world. Like
Right.
that's the only reason Mecca would be empty if just humanity just evaporated. Like I can't imagine it any other ways. And
Yeah.
I saw that photo and I was just, world is in a strange spot.
Well,
I mean, I don't know, like a lot is happening. I think it's also showing a lot of weaknesses we have as a species / community at the moment, right? Like the things we like spread information, the way we talk to each other, the way our economy works, the way we're dependent on like such short buffers of like money and time and life.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot happening now that's just exposing every weakness in every system. I don't know, like feels. I always wonder if this is I've been wondering if this is a little bit what a war might feel like, and like the sense of like strange hopelessness that you have. You know, not like a war you fight, but a war that happens to you.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, in a war, you can still go out and do things, right? Like a war doesn't affect. I guess it depends. Like if it's a war happening in the streets, then yeah, I guess you can't. But
I don't know. It reminds me of stories my grandma like told me of like the Second World War, because my grandma was Dutch, right?
Sure.
And like some of that feels very similar. It's just like the panic, the rationing, the like people like doing the wrong thing, hoping to do right. People doing the right thing when it might cost them.
Yeah.
Like people doing the right thing like selflessly because, you know, they have a box of toilet paper and just really want to put it on the corner of the street. Like people.
Yeah.
Well, and
people
you're absolutely right about that,
They're
because
trying to do
like,
good. Yeah.
there's a non-zero chance that I have the virus, just because like I got groceries, I got food delivered or whatever. Like there have been like outside things that have come into my home.
Yeah.
Right. And I could unwillingly be like, if I put that toilet paper out, I could be unwillingly like giving someone like asymptomatic. I could still be passing the virus on and shit like that. Like I'm trying to do a good thing, but I end up, fucking entire family by giving them, what I had or something like that. Like it's shit. Like I didn't even think about that, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, like I think I love the impulse I'm seeing in a lot of people to just do right. Like it's just it's incredible. Like watching the world right now, it's scary, but like holy shit, people are good. Like, people are just good. It's just making, I don't know, it's making me happy seeing a lot of this.
It's definitely exacerbating different emotions. Like, people are stupid as fuck as well. Like, that's very present. And everyday recurring when you see, I don't know, the beach is crowded in Florida, or Disneyland, wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder people 3 days ago. Like that type of stuff is telling. And it's also the type of thing too, where I think a lot of people, like it, you were talking about, if this was a wartime situation or if anything else was happening, I think when this type of stuff happens, a lot of people just want to be angry, but it's hard to be angry at a virus. Cause like, how do you be angry at something you can't see? Right. Like it's an entity that we have no idea, like there's no face to it. Right. And so that'll be the interesting thing after all this isolation. Like, is social media just become a fucking shit show? I mean, it already kind of is in terms of just being super depressing and like super in your face nonstop with the current climate. A month from now, is everyone just going to be stir crazy and rabid and angry 10 times what it is?
I'm literally just holding out for an Animal Crossing. That's it.
Animal Crossing will save the world. Is that what you're going at?
I had a nightmare.
That's the picture that it's going to be.
Yeah.
I had a nightmare.
Coronavirus 2020 is just going to be an Animal Crossing picture.
Just
That's
that.
it.
It's just
No.
Animal Crossing.
I had a nightmare 2 days ago, and I woke up like sweating, and all the nightmare was that Animal Crossing was bad. That was it. Like, it came out, and it wasn't good. You just boot it up, and you're like, oh no, this isn't what I wanted at all. Like, and it was like the scariest nightmare I've had in years, because this game needs to be good.
Yeah.
It needs to be good. This needs to be chill. Like, I need to be able to boot that up, build an island, be angry at Tom Nook for like getting me into debt, and then go hang out with my friends and like trade like exotic fruits or something. Like, that's it. That's what I need. I need it now. I am super angry at Nintendo for not moving that date forward. I respect their agency, but also fuck them. Like, just bring out, like, give us the game. Like, come on. Like, have you seen the world? We need the game. This is it. Like, if we don't get the game, we're all like, we're screwed. We need Animal Crossing, like, now. Yeah. Also Doom, but mostly Animal Crossing.
Mostly Animal Crossing. Yeah. It's one of those things. Zeke, were you the one talking about like Animal Crossing's gonna sell like a shit, or was that Max yesterday? One of you was saying that that was what?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Okay, I think it was Max maybe. The fact that Animal Crossing is just gonna sell so many copies because of the current situation. Because everyone's gonna want to jump into another place and just kind of forget everything else. I think potentially like VR might be that next bastion with Alex coming out on Monday. Hopefully it's good, but talk about like getting away from everything and like escaping. VR is a pretty good way to do that. So Zeke, you were gonna say something?
Well, the whole situation reminds me of that. There's a quote from Men in Black that Tommy Lee Jones says. He's talking to Will Smith, and he goes, "A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it."
I remember that line.
And that's what this kind of like, it really is apropos here. Like, a person, you talk to a person and you can hear like exactly like what's going on with them, and you can talk to a person, but talking to a crowd is or the madness of crowds, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like watching that World of Warcraft thing, right? With the virus there. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Like, they're actually using that as research. Like, some people are researching that to see how, if we can model people behavior. Also, Ring Fit. Yeah, Ring Fit is.
So yeah.
I'm so happy I have. Me too.
They've skyrocketed in prices. I haven't looked at the price in the past since I woke up. I looked at it last night. It was a couple $100 on eBay. But yeah, wow. It seemed to be skyrocketing because everyone's looking for shit to do.
And exercise.
Stay in shape without going outside. Yeah.
Through
the Ring Fit kicked my ass though. That game is brutal.
Oh yeah. No, I lasted 4 days. Then I was like, "Fuck this! I'm actually sore. This was a video game, not a not an
No,
actual."
I really misset. I really misset my settings. I thought, oh, it's a video game. It'll be fine. You know, like level 1 where they teach you like how to do the jogging thing, and then level 2 they teach you like how to do some of the like pushy things, and then at the end of level 2 they went like, you should take a break.
Yeah.
And games tell me that all the time. I don't take a fucking break when a game tells me. Like, I play the game. The game
Nintendo
doesn't
games
play
tell you
me.
that all the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just laugh.
So went for level 3. I like crawled to my kitchen halfway through that. Like that boss fight destroyed. Like I just couldn't. Game is brutal.
Yeah.
Like Ring Fit is the Dark Souls of all video games. It's like you tell me that your Dark Souls boss fight is pain? No, fuck you. Like try beating a Ring Fit boss. Get the fuck out of here.
I agree. Well, let's talk games for a bit. Zeke, I've been wanting to talk to you about your Dreams escapade, or I don't know what to call this. You played Dreams all day Sunday for your Indie Sunday day. 8 solid hours of Dreams. Was your brain a little bit fried at the end of that? Was it?
Absolutely not. It fucking flew by.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
I was like what's it called? Like sensory overwhelmed by the amount of stuff and the amount of just craziness. I'm sure it's gotten a lot better now that the game's been out for a while. I saw that you started out with House of Beavis right out of the gate. This is a good one. This is one of my favorite.
That was the first one that I wanted to check out because you told me to, and you said it was surreal and it was weird and it was all those things. It was definitely like experiencing a piece of art, a surrealist like painting that you could walk through, and listen to and hear and see and that kind of stuff. It didn't disappoint. It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I
don't think I walked down here.
A couple of people said that, like, I didn't see this mushroom place.
Yeah, I didn't see this mushroom place at all.
Yeah. I just looked down and saw this little path, and I said, I wonder if there's falling damage, and there's not. Unless you fall in the ocean, then they just like respawn you somewhere else. But man, it was great. The sound bites they used. I guess you can't import audio into Dreams.
You have to make
unless it's from a microphone.
Yeah.
So a lot of the sound things in the games, like there was another one that was they did like the opening of Star Wars: A New Hope, and they did like the first like I don't know couple minutes of the movie, and I was like, why does this sound like absolute shit?
Right.
Like that's why, because they like actually like had to hold the mic up to something that was playing it, and pipe it through that way or something like that. So the audio in that you can use that they supply you with is actually really good stuff. And you can, I guess you can morph it and change it and do all kinds of different stuff with it, but you're limited to the actual like audio tracks that they have, I think. But in this particular game, the House of Beavis, they used it very well to their advantage. So it sounded like it was coming over loudspeakers, like within the game.
Yeah.
Like you could hear like certain things being said. They use sound clips, I think, from South Park, from different movies and different media. But it sounded like it was coming through loudspeakers within the house or within the like from the sky or something. So it didn't feel out of place as some other audio things did. But it was really cool. I enjoyed this game. It was not really a game. It was just like an experience.
Walking simulator experience. It was a little haunting to me. And
I found out that this like unicorn Pegasus hippogriff thing is Beavis's like signature.
Oh, really?
Because he did this, but he also did it's called the White City.
Maybe.
And it's just Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings.
Apparently it is a she, by the way. I was corrected by chat. I don't know if you were corrected by chat when you were streaming, but apparently it is a female developer. Unless I was being trolled. I hope I got that right. Maybe I didn't. But yeah.
But if you go, do the House of Beavis is great. The White City, I think, is the name of the thing. If you want to search it in Dreams, but it's just a full scale model of Minas Tirith. And once you get all the way up to the top of Minas Tirith, it's like six rings or whatever. Once you complete it, like that fucking Pegasus flies out again.
Huh.
So like it was like, oh shit, that's a signature thing. Oh, I get you. Cool.
Yeah.
But oh man, there was so much cool stuff in Dreams.
Yeah, I'll skip around and we'll just kind of talk about wherever I land in the VOD because I don't want to try to find each and every game that you play. Well, but like this,
some of the stuff, like this is
Goku fighting a teenage.
But this is Persona.
Oh no, this is a Persona game. Sure, okay.
It's called Persnickety 5. Great. And it's fucking stupid as hell, but goddamn is it fun. It is so like, it's like, look at this. These are graphics. Like he comes over and he just like, and he hits Mickey Mouse and knocks him across the screen. And Mickey Mouse is wearing a cape with jack-o'-lantern underwear.
I love how the animation.
Yeah.
The animation on the arm just goes inwards the wrong ways, and it's like, it's perfect.
Yeah. Or Broly, whatever it is. And it all the while it's playing music from JoJo something.
Oh, from the anime?
Yeah.
The anime, as the kids say. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah, they're playing like this JoJo. This barely has anything to do with Persona at all. It's just an absurd, ridiculous like labor of love that this person made and used assets that were pre-created, I'm sure, or he created them himself. But this is the end of the game. All you have to do is mash X and eat the pizza, and that's your score. Is how fast you ate the pizza.
Everything else doesn't matter.
No, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely absurd and insane. I love Dreams. I love it. Like 8 hours, I barely scratched the surface.
Oh yeah, dude,
like,
there's so much.
I tried to play most of the suggestions from people. Like people would suggest things that they'd seen.
Yeah. And
most of them, like 5-10 minutes, and then you're done. And you've done the experience of whatever it is. Some of them are like they try to do like 1-to-1 replicas of other things, like the Star Wars thing. This one, Seinfeld.
Oh, I've heard about. I've actually seen someone play this. It's a horror game.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a little. I mean, it's Seinfeld mixed with horror, and it's a trip. I think is the best way I could put it. Sure. It's a trip. Because you're in this Seinfeld apartment in his apartment building, and you go outside and there's the restaurant that they always go to and stuff like that. But it doesn't feel like horror. It feels like I'm gonna fuck with you, and that's the point of this game. It's like you're gonna go to Kramer's house or Kramer's apartment, which is right there, and there's this fucking pelican. Pelican there and talks to you, and he wants to leave, so you have to kind of like guide him outside of the apartment building.
It's a good looking pelican.
Yeah. And I think if I move forward here, I like push his face down because I have to move him out of the way, get out of the door.
Nice.
So then now I can. There we go. Now I can move. However, in Kramer's apartment, there's a giant chicken. But don't get confused because there's also Little Jerry is also in there as well. And Little Jerry is an actual like normal sized chicken. That chicken's there just for flavor, just for just for environment. Also, this is Kramer's room, and it's red because of the Kenny Rogers Roasters across the street. The big red neon sign, if you remember that episode. And then in his apartment, I don't know if it's this time. This is one of those repeating things. Like you get to a certain point, and then you teleport back to Jerry's apartment again.
Yeah.
And stuff has changed. It's one of those games where it's like you get to the end of this particular section and you teleport back and you go through it again, but shit's different, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Huh.
But goddamn, dude, it was disturbing. It was.
Holy shit! That pelican scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I was just watching the footage and
there was a jump scare in this that fucking nailed me. I jumped out of my fucking pants. It was great. But it's just amazing what can be created in dreams.
I kind of wish you messed around with the idea, like the creation aspect of it, because it gives you I think it does what Rami's always wanted, and it gives the player an idea of how difficult it is to actually make this shit in a very real way. Because it did that for me within seconds. Because I was like, I'm going to try to manipulate this. Oh, God. Okay, this block, this square, what? Okay, I can't. How do I make this square into it? I need to make it longer. 30 minutes later, all right, guys, I did it. That's my masterpiece. The square is now a rectangle, and it's a little bit bigger. Check it out.
Is now a rectangle.
And you look at this, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, effectively, this was all made with Move controllers.
Yeah.
Like that's the tools. A Move controller or a controller itself or a DualShock. Like
their tool set is so good though.
It is.
Like so impressive. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And the way they're dealing with a lot of like performance and other stuff is just so good. Like this is one of those things that there's going to be a community of people that have learned to develop games in dreams, and they're all going to have this really weird kind of zany like aesthetic to the shit they make.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited for it. Me too, mate. Like I can't wait
This was a terrifying level for me, by the way. This was made by Media Molecule. I played this as well. That's all it is. It's a level called Please Hug Me, and everyone walks away from you.
Oh, this is like
there's a way to win this. I don't know that there is.
I think that's it. I think you just lose.
I don't think you can actually get a hug.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. It's very sad.
Oh no, this camera zoom. Oh no.
Yeah, it's very sad. And the music is just as sombering as what you're seeing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, because I was amazed, and that's the game.
That's it. That's all it was. Yeah, just a bite-sized thing.
That was it.
Did you enjoy that? No, I didn't enjoy that. My feelings.
Oh, is this like a platformer here?
This game is actually, I'm not kidding. It's actually the reason why I'm wearing this brace.
Yeah.
Is because the whole point of this game is go back. Oh, wait, pause right now.
Okay.
Okay. You see how it says stick L2, R2, R1 is run.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
Jesus.
That's the point of this game. Is like the controls get more and more convoluted to do 3 things: run, move, and jump. So the run, you have to run in order to get enough speed to jump to the platform. So you have to press all these different buttons on the controller. And I spent like 20 minutes trying to get the last level because it's like you have to press all these different buttons and then you have to press different buttons to jump and that kind of shit. And the platforms were disappearing and stuff. So like my hand cramped up and my tendons got all fucking like but that's the thing, like I wouldn't let it beat me because it was just like, fuck, my fucking thumb slipped up again. Ah, shit, fuck. And you're trying to grip this goddamn controller and like you got this crab claw going. You're like, eh. And you're like, I'm trying to go.
Oh yeah, you got to bring your tongue into it. That's the.
But honestly, it was a fucking brilliant idea. Like, I'm not gonna make the game harder. I'm gonna make the controls so stupid that's the difficulty. It's actual physical dexterity difficulty. And I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
There's a game for iOS called Fingal, which is a really awkward finger touching game.
Okay.
But the developer realized, so you play with 2 players and it traces basically the 5 points of your finger and you have to like follow the points and it makes you like touch your hands awkwardly with 2 players. It's really uncomfortable. But the developer realized that there are 11 touch points on an iPad. So there's just one level where you have to use all 11 as one person.
Oh God.
And it's the same kind of thing where you just look at it and you go like, what? And I've heard some crazy solutions for that level.
Well,
Some
yeah,
I don't
you got 10
want to.
fingers, so
Mhm.
got to get an extra something, you know? Oh,
This game was Silent
I remember
Hills,
that, yeah.
and I can't believe how long this game is. This game took, I think, an hour and a half to beat, and it's just a continuation. It's like I think it's a continuation of PT.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The playable trailer by Kojima and Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. Did you play that, by the way? Because someone recreated that in this game.
Oh, I saw it and I played like 5 seconds of it and I went, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I like
That's how I was.
The original was so immersive and so well done and so eerie and creepy and all that shit that playing a bad copy of it was not good for me.
Oh, it's everything but it for me, it was everything but a bad copy. Like, it was exceptionally well done in terms of recreating exactly what that demo was. However, it's not the same demo, right? Different textures and all that shit. But yeah, it was very well done. You should definitely check it out if you're at all interested.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's. Oh no. Okay, hold on. I'm not saying it's bad in and of itself.
Yeah.
But the experience that I had with PT was so visceral and so good. I enjoyed it so much.
Gotcha.
That anything that wasn't exact, that wasn't the actual product, felt bad. I don't know.
That makes sense. Wow, this went on for a while. This was like an hour long here. With Silent Hills.
The story, the dialogue, the whole thing. He made like a cool encapsulated story. The graphical limitations were the only bad part about this. Like, the idea was good. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't the only bad part. I totally blocked out. I totally blocked out the very end of the game. Very end of the game.
Spoilers.
It's terrible.
Okay.
It's fucking awful. It is the dumbest, stupidest bullshit. Play it. If you have dreams, play it. Why not? It's free. Play it. Get to the end. It's called Silent Hills.
Yeah, with an S.
With an S. Get to the end and groan with disappointment. Cringe until your fucking eyes roll back all the way back around 360 in your head, because that's what I did. Up till that point, I was like, man, this is pretty good. Like, I'll forgive graphical quality and stuff like that, but the story, the atmosphere, like the limitations were the only thing that were holding this game back from being actually like very good. And then there's the end.
We're playing like a budget DJ Weed here. It's pretty good.
I thought he looked like me.
Yeah, I guess your beard's a little bit fuller on the sides. That's why I went for
True.
Weed, but yeah. I could see that. It's definitely you. If your hair were a little longer, for sure.
Yeah.
Work out. What else? I'm kind of just God, what is wait, he put his Twitch link therapy in the thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Smart.
Yeah.
Art therapy is it's all right. It's a score attack game where you smash sculptures and paintings and stuff like that in a museum, and you try not to get caught by the security guards.
Sure.
It's all right.
Okay. All right. Okay, what is it? I think I remember playing the beginning of this, maybe.
This game, Pilgrim, something Pilgrim.
Okay. It might flash here.
What is this called?
I don't
Help me out, chat. I think it's just The Pilgrim, right?
The Pilgrim, yeah.
Yeah, it's just The Pilgrim. This game is fucking phenomenally well done. The graphics, the sound, the control, like it controls like Mario 64.
Okay.
And they're not shy about it. There's even the triple jump,
wow.
Woohoo, wahoo, like that. There's the Z jump, the horizontal jump. They have the long jump. They have all that. However, given all that stuff being, taken from Mario 64, it's fucking gorgeous. The level design is albeit a little simple, like it's not too difficult. This is at the end, so you want to go back just a little bit, just a skosh.
Okay.
Yeah. The level design is cool. Like they introduce new fucking mechanics on every level.
Jeez.
Like there's this magic dash that you use to get up these like little half pipes. There's projectiles that you throw. Like they introduce new stuff like every level that you beat. It's not super long, but man, is it fucking well done. And look at the particles on that shit. The particle like on the fire graphic or whatever. Like,
yeah.
God damn, it's awesome.
The remarkable thing for a lot of this is like, I have no idea. I have not seen this game myself, but
quarter pipe. Sorry, not half pipe. My bad.
I haven't seen this game myself, but you can take this game, go into the game creator, and literally pull every single asset from every single thing that you're seeing right here and say like, I want that. So probably more than likely, all of this stuff or a large portion of this stuff is just someone else's creation that's really good at like making that fire. Potentially. I'm not saying that this is what happened, but like that's for me, that's the crazy part of this platform essentially is people can be like, they're really good at making fire. So I'm going to take that and put it into my game. And then once you finish the game, it automatically credits that person for having their fire within your creation. So that type of stuff is awesome. It's so smart.
So good.
Yeah. Geez, you weren't kidding. This pretty well, like scripted out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This was incredible. This was by far like the best technical achievement that I saw throughout the day.
Yeah.
The looks, the sound, the lightning. That's right. That was one of the mechanics you get is the lightning. That's your like one of your weapons.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
Go ahead.
What was that, Rami?
I think it's so nice to see that when, because we make games for a living, right? And the expectations that are on games are so high that a lot of the like really cool experimental stuff just doesn't happen in the commercial space. And Dreams, like that game, the platforming game with the controls,
yeah,
like that's brilliant. That's super good. You could never release that. Only through something like this, right? Like for free on itch, where nobody would presumably pick it up because it's a weird idea. But in the context of Dreams, trying weird games, playing stuff that might not be good, playing stuff that looks bad, like all that becomes okay.
Yeah.
And like in game school, you get taught like the theory of playfulness more than like the theory of gaming, right? Like this idea that when people are in the right state of mind, they'll accept that they are a little weird dude with a hat doing weird stuff. And I think Dreams might be the best example of that, like of that sort of like childhood magic where we can just believe whatever just because we want to. It's beautiful. Like this is the most beautiful game that has released in maybe ever. Like this is what games are about. It's about like playing. It's about finding fun. It's about accepting that this world for now is the world we're in, and we're just gonna throw some fireballs and wreck this staircase apparently. But like whatever the game lets you do, like
yeah,
I love this. Like this. If you ask me like a game that would make me cry, this game could make me cry. Like just watching this, like this is beautiful. Like somebody put work into this, somebody made this, and now somebody is enjoying it. Like that's, I don't know, that's literally my job. This is my life.
Yeah. Well, that and
I love this.
They go beyond in terms of like in Dreams when Zeke finishes this game, instead of just saying like go to the next game, you can like scroll to the right and see like developer comments. You can leave your own comment. You can give a review. And like these guys are having like one-on-one conversations with people that just played their game. And that type of stuff is awesome to see. Because more than likely it's kind of like what you just said. You don't go into Dreams expecting like the next AAA best game of all time. You go in for like these little bite-sized experiences. And the fact that it's not a perfect game is okay. And so a lot of those comments are like generally nice. Like it's a weird thing to see in the world of video games when the comments are like, hey man, I really like that part when you did this. That was really cool. Good job. And that's it. There's no cynical at all, like cynicism at all. It's just good job, man. That's great. You did a cool job.
Yeah, people want to talk about the good thing.
Yeah, they want
really
they want
nice.
to talk about the good thing. That's a good way to put it, for sure. The cynic in me looks at this and I think, how long till, someone goes out and just trolls around Dreams and sees a good idea and then makes a game outside of Dreams based on that. And then we have some sort of like, hey, you totally ripped that off from my game that I made a year ago within Dreams. Here's what I made. Here's your fully released AAA thing. What the fuck, man? Like, yeah.
It'll probably happen at some
Oh, it's
point.
100% going to happen. I mean, it happens every single day in like the mobile world,
Store.
right? Yeah, in the App
Yeah.
Store. So it'll be very interesting to see that type of stuff. Let's skip ahead and see some more stuff here that Zeke played. Here's something completely different. What is this? Like a chivalry type deal.
No. Okay, this game has a great underlying story.
Yeah.
Alan's mother stood over his father's gasping last moments. The gun trained on him. Like, it's that. But it's a story of like a child's escape. What it felt like was how a child would deal with trauma, how a child would deal with issues that are too big for them to understand, that kind of thing. And then there's these little vignettes where you're like a knight with a sword, or you're what other? Because it had like I want to say like 4 to 6 little different scenes where you're playing this like character in a video game, but these lines, it's not spoken, but these lines of dialogue are printed on the screen, the text is printed on the screen, and you kind of get this underlying story. Still work. Okay, this is the end of it.
Oh, okay. I have a knack for.
They're all in my collection titled Complete Stories.
Oh, sorry. Is this the same game?
I should have. No, it's not.
Okay.
I love this title.
They're so short. It's hard to get a beat on them. Can anyone remember from my chat? Can anyone remember what the name of that was called? This game. Oh.
I don't know.
We'll go back to that one.
Okay, yeah, we can go back to this one for sure.
Another different game.
Yeah, completely different thing. Still within Dreams.
God, I wish I would have put the title up in the screen but they some of them lasted a minute.
Yeah, they come
and some of them lasted like 10.
Rapid pace for sure. It's rapid fire.
Yeah. Some of them I would have taken longer typing out the title of the game than I did playing the goddamn game. Maybe this is a good opportunity. Hey, go back, check out my VOD, baby.
There you go.
Then you can see all the games that I played.
Is this the same game?
No, this is a game that you'll run into this a lot if you do like the auto surf.
Yeah, they find similar stuff.
You'll find games, but a lot of the games they'll be labeled work in progress or WIP.
Yeah.
Some of them won't be, but are work in progress. Like this game, was completely unfinished. It was not even like playable yet.
Oh.
But it's on the list of things you can see, because I'm not sure how it works. How you like,
I don't know how the
if you create something, you have to publish it or something. You have to like actually like put it out on the.
Well, when you finish a creation, you can like signify if you want to share it or not, and if you share it, then it's out there and people can just find it.
Right. Now, this game, I wandered around this game for a few minutes, but it was obvious that this game was not. It was missing like core mechanics to like actually move on, like progress in the game.
Gotcha.
Here's
They're in my walls.
Yeah, this is bullshit game.
Okay.
There's a lot of that.
Shit, this got built out. I think I played like the first area of this, and this got super built out.
Yeah, this is a fucking. I was so excited to play it because it's a gathering building.
It's a
game.
survival game, yeah.
Yeah, survival game. And I think I did one section of I mined one time, I chopped down one tree, and I gathered one bushel of berries, and then I called it a day. I was like,
Because
well,
that's
I
all.
did everything I care about.
I think all that stuff is like made or able to be made by the player.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
I had to get a pickaxe,
That's what
find
you
a thing of gold to mine, and yeah, that's about it. It's still a work in progress, I'm sure.
Did you get into any of the like meme bull? Oh, here's Menace terrific or whatever you're talking about. Well, there was. Now you're showing a
Oh yeah, you gotta. I was showing off some Gears art. Oh yeah, this is the White City or whatever it's called, the scale model of Minas Tirith.
Yeah. Did you find all the things in it? There we go. This is a little bit better. Show the scale of it.
Yeah, the game aspect of it is there's these little crates throughout the city that you have to get. Like the icon looks like bubbles. See, like bubbles. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're gold pieces or whatever. So you have to search. Each crate has like 5 bubble gold, and in order to go to the next actual level up in Minas Tirith, you have to collect 5 of those. So 25 total. So 5 times 5.
Yeah.
But that's the only like game aspect of it. But it is fucking amazing that someone actually did this.
It's massive too. Like
Yeah.
super massive. And
Yeah.
the important thing to remember, which I think you might be about to say, but I'm gonna steal it from you. In Minecraft, when people make this type of stuff, they're putting it into like a generator. This stuff, there is no generator in Dreams that I know of. Like they had to go and hand make all of this shit with a move controller. Like you can't just plug stuff in and have it populate automatically, I think, unless there is something that I never saw tool wise. They have to like handcraft all of this stuff essentially. And I don't know if Zeke will show it here, but okay, he's showing a little bit here. Like this thing's massive. Like 5 minutes to probably walk from top to bottom, right? Like it's crazy huge.
Yeah, it's really, really big. You can do the good thing they put in there. You can do just a flyby. You can use the map function and then just do like a camera all the way around and up and down and stuff like that. You don't actually have to travel through it on foot,
Yeah.
like I'm doing. But I think this is the part where I actually get to the top of Minas Tirith.
Oh yeah. I didn't even collect all that stuff. Oh yeah, you are at the top.
Yeah, it's the scale of it is just like the sheer will
It's mind-boggling
that it takes to do that. Like watching someone who created like a scale model of the Starship Enterprise in Minecraft it's that kind of willpower and like love of the game that it takes to do this kind of shit.
Right, but it's tenfold because like a lot of that stuff is done by a program. Like this is done by a person. Like that's I think the important thing that people got to remember. Do you jump off eventually or no?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
Okay, good. I just
I do the because I go into the throne room and I put on Fade Fade, the song that Pippin sings.
Let it no. Not Let It Be. What the fuck? I'm blanking now. Why did I say
here it is. Here's the signature. Ready? There it is.
Oh, the Beavis thing.
Yeah.
I think it's Let It Snow. Probably might be the name.
It's probably Let It Snow. All shall fade. Thank you. That's what it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it snow. All shall fade. Really, it's
all the same thing. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. The Beatles were on to something before everyone else.
Let it fade snow. Let it snow some fadeage.
Yeah. We'll skip. Well, are they gonna do the big pan? Oh yeah, here's the pan. Here's kind of showing the size of this thing. Fucking crazy. Absolutely bonkers. And keep in mind, this game's been out a month. It wasn't beta for some time, maybe 2 or 3 months, but like,
yeah, the short amount of time that they had to create this is
it's staggering. Just breaks your fucking brain.
It's really cleverly built.
Yeah.
When you look at it, they're reusing a lot of stuff really cleverly. It's really well done.
Oh, this is like
I want to.
marble game thing.
This game, go ahead, Coach Rami. Then I'll get on this game.
I like just at some point. Can you find the little black and white game that you saw before? Because I
Oh,
really
the
want to
fuzzball
see that
game.
one.
The fuzzball.
Is it
Yeah.
the fuzzball? Yeah.
It's
That was like the cutest thing I've seen.
forward. Keep going. I'll tell you when. Keep going. Keep going.
I think that's it. Nope.
Oh, this one's actually really adorable too. You play as this little tiny sloth that gets like these, like the opening cinematic is so great. This crystal falls from the sky, and it's like super speedy crystal, and it shows the sloth like going down and walking towards it, and you're like, oh my god, is he gonna take forever? And just when you think it's gonna go, it goes 10 minutes later. I was like, oh good, they do a fade, and you're halfway there. Then it goes 10 minutes later again, and you finally get to this crystal, and you get this like super speed for a little tiny sloth. And he fucking waves at the camera. It's fucking adorable. It's just a puzzle platformer. You have to dig in the walls on the ground to find these crystals to advance to the new level. I think there's 7 levels total. And it's colorful. It's the controls are the right spots. The puzzles are pretty good. They're pretty elementary. There it is. This one right here.
Yeah.
This one, it kind of reminded me of like Chuchel, like you're playing playing Chuchel,
Yeah.
the fuzzball with legs. It's not absurd like that. It's just a puzzle platformer game with this little tiny
I like
fuzzball with eyes, and the arrows are like drawn by like MS Paint and shit like that.
I like the little flip animation that's on the character. Like that's a nice little touch. It doesn't do much, but it just like it looks good.
The way the legs like react when landing is also really good.
Yeah.
This is very, and like moving, like he kind of loses his balance. It's kind of like tilts over. This is very good. Holy crap.
This made me fucking laugh.
Oh no.
Hold on. Go back to the beginning.
It's gonna be super. Wait,
Play the sound.
I think I could do. Okay, hold on. Let me set this up.
Oh.
Okay, here we
That
go.
transition.
Kind of terrible. It's because they had to like put a microphone up. Oh, that was it.
Stop. Touch me, This is my Nioh square.
Is that all it is?
Stop. Touch me, This is my Nioh square.
Nice.
Oh, that's all it is. It's just on repeat.
Those are my favorites.
Killed me.
Like random like there's a lot of, at least when I played, there's a lot of Fat Yoshi meme games to where it was just like Fat Yoshi and then they would just kill him somehow. And every time Fat Yoshi had the same noise of like the death shrill that he had, it would always make me laugh. So there's a lot of random bullshit in Dreams. Let's be very clear about that. But there's also a lot of like full-fledged games. But there's a lot of random bullshit like the Corona No Square.
Oh yeah, the second half or the last like 2-3 hours of me playing Dreams was just me auto surfing.
Yeah.
Just to see all the random shit.
Yeah.
This is a viewer created game. Just basic luck to see if you could get to the bottom the fastest, or to see if you could have the most amount of time without getting to the bottom. But It's all luck. It's all RNG luck. So
absolutely.
I looked at it and went, this is a game that I would gamble with. I would figure out how to gamble.
Wait, is this the official
I'm saying
stuff?
2 to 3 minutes, $5.
Is
This game was fucking amazing. This game is a LittleBigPlanet homage or love letter to LittleBigPlanet. And it was so fucking well done.
Is this from Media Molecule or someone random?
Help me out, chat. I'm not sure.
Because
I want the name of it because I can't remember the name of it.
They made a lot of like their own games in here. I mean, they have like the campaign.
It might be from Media Molecule. It might very well be.
Yeah. Chat's saying random. So that's impressive. Like that looks really well done.
If you could just a little bit more forward, you actually get to see this game really fucking show off.
think you kept dying. Oh, right here.
Yeah, we're starting to get there because the assets, the background,
Oh
the
my
level
God,
design.
what the
There we
fuck?
go. Yeah,
Wow.
this is what I'm saying.
If that's a random person and not a Media Molecule dev, that is crazy.
Funky Bones 4, and no, it wasn't made by Media Molecule.
Wow, that someone already has like that much skill within that system and they didn't make it themselves is staggering. That's crazy to see.
It was a user-made continuation from a series a player made in LittleBigPlanet. Oh,
Okay, so
that's
yeah,
why it's Funky Bones 4
Man,
because
that's
it's a
super well
continuation. Okay. But look at that! Look at the fucking skeleton in the background.
done. Yeah,
How the fuck do they have these assets? It's insane.
that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. People
This
in
looks
chat
like a fucking professionally made goddamn game. This does not look like it was made by a like your first game dev kit.
well, and again, you got to remind people it's made on a DualShock 4 or some Move controllers.
Yeah.
Like that. Every time I remind myself that, it breaks my fucking brain.
I keep seeing people asking if developers think that Dreams will be a good way to build portfolio and like maybe get a job in games.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
I've already seen a couple of stories where like people have gotten hired because of their work in the game within
Yeah.
Dreams. Like the people reached out to them and started the application and interview process.
Yeah,
which
no,
is
this
cool.
is 100. If you can make cool stuff in Dreams, like if you can do it here, I believe you can do it as something else too. Like,
Yeah.
it's not-
Yeah. There and I saw the headline. I didn't read any more. Apparently Media Molecule is starting to like do a beta for licensing this stuff so that players can sell.
Yeah, they're starting with video though, like so you can like release videos of what you do commercially.
On like YouTube with ads or something? Is that what they're meaning?
No
or-
idea.
Okay.
No idea yet. But I mean, it's a good first step. I think they're just kind of trying to work out the kinks with like
Yeah, I mean
the IP stuff.
it's uncharted water, right? Like
Yeah,
this
this
type of
hasn't been
stuff,
done before.
It's never been done before. And if it has, it's never been done like this commercially. It's like a finished product. It's like you made something in Unreal Engine 4. Great. Here's the entire thing that we made this thing for, not so you could sell it. Or not so
Yeah.
you could like make
Plus-
games. Yeah.
Plus, this thing is literally on PlayStation. Like,
Right.
there's no way to run this on PC or any other platform. Like, if you make something in Dreams and then decide to release it on Xbox, should that be allowed? Is that legally okay? Like, there's a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah.
But my God, is this an amazing game? And it's not super expensive for
It's $40, I think.
what is it's $40 for the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it ain't
Yeah.
cheap, but this is a lot of indie games for $40.
Oh, it's in theoretically endless amount, right? Like check in
Yeah.
every single week and there's 1,000 new games or some absurd stat, I'm sure.
Well, and also like the games that you like. So, sometimes they're consistently being updated with new mechanics, new levels. Like if you like something, check back in a few days to see like what updates they've made, what new like functionality they've added, levels and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tons of work in progress shit that has just shows so much goddamn potential.
Right. Red Velvet 84 in chat brings up a question that I don't know the answer to, but maybe you do, Zeke or even Rami. Do you need PS Plus for the online content for this?
I don't know.
I have it.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
have
I
it as
need
well. So I would think not, because that would really suck.
Chat's saying no.
Chat's saying no. So yeah, that's good. But I did not even consider that because I think I just have PS Plus like reoccurring. I don't think about it.
Look at that fucking mariachi in the background.
Hey, he's dancing. He's animated.
Skeleton mariachi is fucking amazing. Isn't that fucking amazing? It's so cool.
That's really well done.
Like I would be gaga, like because I've seen LittleBigPlanet, I've seen what people can do with like this style of game.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's made, like we've been saying over and over and over again, with the tools at hand, it's astounding.
The other thing that is going to be pretty crazy, chat just reminded me is that multiplayer is coming pretty soon. So people will be able to work on games in real time together, like in the same thing, which is crazy to think about. Also, there's going to be VR, which is even crazier to think about because if you own VR or if you own a headset, you know, like one of the biggest issue is finding games that you can just constantly play because there are limited amounts and at least good quality. So if people start just making VR stuff, one, it might be a little bit terrifying because I'm sure there's going to be, if I was someone that was doing that, I would just make jump scares galore within VR hidden behind like, here's a fat Yoshi. So,
I mean, when I got my first VR dev kit, I did some terrible shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Your mind obviously goes to the trolley places. So.
Did you know that if you train somebody to like think that the left analog stick will make them move the way they think, and then you make it move the other way while they're in VR, they fall over?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Because they fucking do.
Yeah.
Well,
it was really funny, but also I needed pillows around those people.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
I didn't know what was gonna. Nobody knew what was gonna happen. VR was just new. I'm like, yo, what will happen if I do that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
before we go, one last thing I want you to the end of the stream for the marble game because I really want to talk about this.
Oh, okay, yeah. Talk about it. I'll bring it back up.
The newest game by the same developer, I cannot goddamn remember their names. I should have written all these down, and I'm sorry. But the newest game is called Spherical. If you want to look it up, and then once you play a little bit of that, look up the person who created it. Look up their other titles because you can go to the person that created it and look up the other titles. And there's Spherical, and then there's Ball World Adventures is what it's called. And these games are fucking fantastic. They're straightforward. Get the marble get the ball to the end of the maze.
Wow.
The control is fucking awesome. But what makes this game, like what really solidifies it as a game that I loved playing and I want to go back to, is the music and audio design is probably the best I saw the entire time. Whatever they did, whatever mixes they created, whatever songs they made or used or whatever, just fit so well. And it was so like, if you've played like games like Super Hexagon or oh god, what was that? The game where you could, it's also in VR, but it's you're on like a rail, but you have to like dodge stuff. Oh god, come on, help me out.
Super Monkey Ball?
No.
It sounds like Impossible Road.
It's a Thumper. Thank you, Thumper.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Thumper. Like I'm talking about music matching a game and getting you like making you want to keep playing it with great controls, all meshed into one. This is a great level attack game. I had a lot of fun. It was fucking challenging. But it's one of those games where if you go really fast and you just nail a level, it's so satisfying, just like Monkey Ball was, like back in the day. It's like you go super fast and you hit that goal and you're like, fuck yeah, I got it. And
Ooh.
Play it. You'll enjoy it. Cool. I had so much fun playing this game.
Cool.
I'm cheering for your play here. This is great.
There's particular levels are they can get really difficult, and I barely touched like any sort of difficulty. Like this is some of the first levels, and I'm excited to see what like comes out of this. And I think I get it this time. Yep, I get it this time. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's 3 difficulties. See the difficulty stars?
Oh,
There's like 3 out of like a dozen stars. So it's like that was easy shit.
Damn.
But yeah, it was great. It's a fucking fun game. Spherical and Ball World Adventures. Look those up. They're great.
Cool.
Is there like actual news breaking right now?
Yeah, there's a little bit of news. We'll jump into that before I spend some time talking about Nioh real quick. So Xbox has updated its Series X website to say the system is quote or is coming quote Thanksgiving 2020 versus quote holiday 2020, meaning a November 2020 release. So that's the response to Cerny's meditation series released earlier today. Yeah, so it's coming out on Thanksgiving 2020. Sooner than I thought. Do what?
I don't know when Thanksgiving is.
November.
November.
The end of November.
Okay,
the last
so a little
Thursday of
early.
November. Yeah, little bit right before Christmas, which probably around Black Friday, which means that it's going to be a fucking nightmare to find one. Essentially, we'll see how that goes. And then there was some Final Fantasy news, Final Fantasy 7 remake news that they put out. Let me try to find that real quick.
Please don't be delayed.
Well, they said that they're still, I think the bulk of it was that they're still going ahead with releasing the game on the 10th, but that people might not be getting it. Like there's a physical shortage of the game due to production. I can't fucking find it. Hold on. Where is this? It's probably on this new site. Hold on. We'll talk about it. The other big news is the PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn will not have an FOV slider. So people are a little bit tilted about that, which of course they are. Chad, if you have the Final Fantasy 7 post, by all means, maybe it's just on their FF7 remake Twitter. Yeah, I'm sure modders will just fix that immediately. All right, here's the thing that they posted. I gotta make sure. Due to the extraordinary circumstances the world is facing with the COVID-19 pandemic, we want to update you on how this will impact the forthcoming release of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Our priority is the well-being and safety of our fans and customers, taking into account regional government and World Health Organization advice. The worldwide release of Final Fantasy VII Remake on April 10th will go ahead. However, with the unforeseeable changes in the distribution and retail landscape, which vary across the world, it is increasingly likely that some of you will not get a hold of your copy of the game on release date. We are monitoring the situation on a daily basis and working with our partners, retailers, and Square Enix teams across Europe and the Americas to do everything that we can to ensure as many of you possible will play the game on April 10th. We want to keep you updated ahead of the release and intend to post again this Friday, March 20th with any further news, so please stay tuned to our official channels. For any other questions regarding the release, please contact our Square Enix store, blah, 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 blah. So, physical issues.
Those 2 images?
Do what? Yeah, it was just those 2 images.
Oh my god.
What?
I don't know. Like, it's just strange to me that somebody would release a formal statement as 2 images.
Yeah, it was just two uploaded JPEGs to the Final Fantasy VII Remake Twitter. What else are you gonna do? But yeah, that's not gonna affect digital sales, obviously. But if you grabbed any of the physical versions or like the collector's edition, I think is probably what that'll be affecting. But
I ordered that.
So did I.
So.
That's that dumb bike, that $300 bike. I got that coming. I don't know why. I'll spend a little bit of time talking about Nioh 2. I kind of want to save the bulk of the discussion for when Ko's back, hopefully next week. Only because I need a counterpart, because I'm going to kind of shit on the game. And I need like the Ko's take of it. The way that I talk about Nioh is that I feel like Nioh, in the way that I tweeted about it, Nioh 2 is a really good reminder that Dark Souls is a good game.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Which is not to say that Nioh 2 is a bad game. It's just, to steal what Dan said about it yesterday, is it's very apparent that there is a lot of QA and a lot of thought put into what failure and what hitboxes and like target and camera and all that stuff goes into Dark Souls games. It feels like some of that is missing from this game in particular. Like dying in Dark Souls, albeit frustrating, is still fun. Dying in Nioh 2 is just frustrating. Like, it doesn't feel good to die. A lot of times you'll die because the boss puts you up against a corner and the camera fucking just goes crazy. And you lose any sense of like where you're at in the world. And like, that's just fucking frustrating as shit. There's also weird issues with like hitboxes that just don't make a lot of sense. Obviously, chat's going to completely disagree with me and just tell me to get good, which is a hard thing to do when talking about these games negatively because they do have diehard fan bases. And they're very quick to tell you what you're doing wrong. But at the end of the day, I still like playing Nioh 2. I think it's got a great base to it. They didn't change a whole lot from Nioh 1. They just added to it, which is one of those things where I really feel like if any producers work on this game that say no, because there's so many systems at once, especially towards the later half of the game where there's like 1,000 fucking things happening at once, or that you're having to keep track of, or that are potentially available to you. Not even like mentioning any of the other systems that can kind of add into your character. Not even mentioning the fact that like items are RNG based. So it's a looter Dark Souls game. And that factors into things. Like it actually matters a lot if you enter into a fight and your like defense is low on your gear. So all of that said, like at the end of the day, we'll probably have a longer discussion when Ko's back next week. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still going to try and finish the game. I think I'm about halfway through, if not like 60% of the way through. Playing a magic related build. I say related because at the end of the day, you're still required to use a weapon. You can't just kind of like spell your way through the game, which is fine. I'm not super upset about that or anything. But yeah, like it's still a fun game. It's not much different from Nioh 1, apart from a few couple of new systems that slightly changed the game. But if you enjoyed Nioh 1, you'll probably enjoy Nioh 2. They didn't really reinvent the wheel at all. So those are my quick thoughts on it. I think we'll like have a further discussion with Ko next week. Hopefully Ko will also finish it alongside myself by next week. We'll see how it goes. This right here is the scythe. This is the magic weapon. There's, I don't know how many weapons off the top of my head, 10 plus, all with three varying stances in each one of them. So each of the weapons have multiple ways of using them. There's also 3 different armor types. So you can kind of put it to your play style and play the game that you want to, for the most part. And all those weapons have like, distances where if you play a spear, you have a lot more range on your attacks. But if you play a short sword type deal, then you're going to have to kind of close the gap a lot more. All that type of shit. So all the things that you would expect from a Dark Souls game and weapon types and stuff like that.
And this is a Sony exclusive, right?
Yes, for now. Nioh 1 eventually came out on PC. Everyone thinks that that's probably going to be the case for this, with Nioh 2 eventually coming out to PC. But I think there's probably some like exclusive year-long contract or something with Sony. So that being
Double
said,
dip, man.
it definitely is double dipping. That being said, I'm playing on a PS4 Pro on the performance setting, and it runs its steady 60. I never noticed really a drop in FPS at all. Like it seems pretty fun.
Jeff Giddy just tweeted that the Xbox Series X release date is unchanged and is still holiday 2020. There's no announcement today about a release date.
Oh, so what was that image updated improperly or what?
The Xbox Series X one? I think Destructo just ran a story that isn't quite correct, or Microsoft is
fucked up or something?
Or Microsoft didn't tell Jeff Keighley.
Okay.
Like,
right.
It's one or the other.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, so that's Nioh 2. I don't really have much else to say about it. I'll be playing it more after today. I'm currently stuck on this boss right here, which is a lot of fun camera-wise because he's giant. The game doesn't necessarily. It's weird. It's weird.
I watched a YouTube guide of how to beat this guy, and it was great because it was literally just a dude hacking into this thing for 3 minutes with what seemed like no strategy whatsoever and getting stuck in like weird camera clipping.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that happens.
I had no idea what was happening. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this helps.
They do something in this game where like a lot of the bosses are split between like humanoid bosses and yokai or like demon bosses. And the humanoid bosses are super fun, pretty challenging, but not like beat your head against the fucking wall type challenging. And like generally I enjoy those a lot. Any of the like yokai fights are, I feel like it's the time that developers decided, like, let's try some different mechanics in this game and see if it works out. I don't think it works out at all. It just frustrates the player. For example, in this one, in one of the walls there, when he does that charge, I'm dead here, by the way. When he does that charge, you can line up the charge so that the boss gets stuck in the wall and you get a free extra moments of hits. However, when he gets stuck in the wall, his head is unhittable for some reason, because I guess the hitbox is stuck in the wall. And so I learned that the hard way after wasting several attempts of like, why isn't he taking damage, and not able to actually do damage to him in that particular area. Luckily, the boss is fucking huge, so you can like circle around the back. There's another boss that's like an owl, and in that he flies a lot, and they have these like spirit realm mechanics to the fights where they go into the spirit realm and you're forced to go with them and fight them there. And they're a little bit more challenging, a little bit harder, and do a little bit more damage. But in that particular spirit realm fight, another area or another thing pops up that's constantly shooting projectiles at you. And if you go and kill it, then you get exited out of the spirit realm and the boss no longer has stamina. And so that's a part of the thing. But then it just becomes you finding the camera, because the boss is constantly trying to attack you while the new thing is constantly trying to attack you. And there's way too much happening on the screen and you can see none of it because you're forced to a perspective. And yeah, it just gets really frustrating. And it's not the fun type of frustrating that I think Dark Souls is for a lot of people. It's just like frustrating. It's a weird thing to talk about, but yeah, we'll talk about it more in depth next week with Ko. I think he's a little bit further than me, but hopefully by next week we'll both have finished it. So that's Nioh 2 in a nutshell. What else have I played? Oh yeah, the PoE League. 5 minutes on that. It's not good. It's in a rough spot right now. The mechanics they introduced, Delirium, are really laggy. And they introduced like this fog, so you can't really see a lot of the ground clutter. And so they have a lot of on death mechanics. So ultimately what happens is you pop the mechanic for the league, and your FPS immediately takes a hit. The further that you go within the mechanic, the mobs are harder to kill, and they also do more damage, and your FPS continues to suffer because then more mobs are just on your screen. And so I'm effectively going from like 300 FPS all the way down to like 40 while fighting these mobs that's constantly jumping in and out of that FPS range. And it's just, yeah, it's in a bad place right now. So hopefully I think they've already said they're going to address some of that stuff and put out a patch like they usually do in the first week or two. Cause PoE is like, I'm not finding myself playing PoE, and it's been barely a week since that game has come out. And that sucks. Like I want to be able to play more for sure. So we'll see how that is. And I'll hopefully be able to talk a little bit about it next week, more at length. And then the other thing I did is finish Ori 2, which is great. It's a great game. Have you finished that game, Rami?
Nope, but pretty far.
It's one of those things where I need to talk to someone about the final like 30 minutes of that game, and I don't know anyone else that's finished it yet because there's so many games out right now. It's really
let me finish it.
It's fucking good.
I'm not too far out, so
okay. Have you seen
right now?
Yeah, not now, but
I mean, give me 5. You
okay.
You all keep doing this, and I'll be.
Have you seen any of the final areas? I guess is what I'll say. Are you not there yet? What part are you at? Are you in the part where it breaks into like the normal go do these 4 things part of it?
Yeah.
Okay. After you do that, there's a thing that it culminates, and it's fucking really good.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It's also just stunning. It's like,
man,
I'm angry. Like, you know this, but like I get angry when things are good.
Yeah.
I've been furious at this game the entire time. And it plays so well. It has no business playing that well. You can't be both that pretty and play that well. Like, it's just not. It's unfair.
Yeah, here's a little
why
bit
would why would they do that to us?
This is a little bit later in the game, so I'm not going to show too much. But definitely, like, by the end of that game, I think I had a triple jump. I had 3 other buttons that kept me like jumping across the screen, not necessarily getting any verticality on any of those jumps, but like you can stay in the air for a really long fucking time in this game, and it feels really fun the entire time that you're doing that.
But everything feels responsive. Like it immediately feels good on the stick.
Yeah.
Like it immediately feels good. Every button, it's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think right now it's probably, I think it's safe to say it's the best game I've played this year, without a doubt. Granted, it's super early in the year. There's still a shit ton of games to come out, but like, it's really fucking good. And it's also on Games Pass. If you are at all interested, you can grab this game for $1 or something like that.
I don't even remember what all came out this year. This year has been a long decade, man. Like I don't remember what's been happening.
By the way, it's March. It's 3 months out of 12 so far in this year. Yeah, it's been a really long.
Oh my god, it's only 3 months in.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be a long year.
What a fucking boner. This fucking year is already.
It's gonna be a really fucking long year.
It's the worst year in 100. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ugh.
Maybe that's overstating it.
Yeah.
Almost Animal Crossing is all I'm saying.
Yeah? Is that so?
That's it. It's gonna save the world.
You're on a show with 2 people that I think have probably the least amount of interest in Animal Crossing.
That's okay.
That could exist.
Can't save everybody apparently then.
What is the Zeke, have you tried Animal Crossing ever before, or do you just not have any interest in it because of that? Is it just because it does not appeal to you whatsoever?
I usually shy away from cutesy stuff.
Yeah.
Cutesy stuff doesn't really, and it's not that it's bad or anything. It doesn't usually appeal to me. It like there is certain cute stuff that I can handle, but it's I don't know. It has to be weird cute, not just like straight up Nintendo cute.
Sure.
You might
There's
know
a difference. Like
I mean, it's a brutal simulation of capitalism. Like that.
I heard. Yeah.
Tom Nook's a motherfucker. There's no denying that.
Tom Nook will fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Like I brought up Choochel before. Like Choochel is cute, but it's weird cute.
Right.
You know, like those little coal dust demon or whatever from Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. Like I can deal with that, but like everything that has everything is rounded corners and it looks like it's very squishy and soft. Like
I mean, like I think what Animal Crossing is for a lot of people is like A, it's a little different world, right? B, it's still a place where you can build a thing that is your own, which I think appeals to a lot of people, like just creating like a space that feels homely. And see, it's a game that you can really like play together in a bunch of really like fun ways, a bunch of little more destructive ways. But like, I think that's what people just need the fantasy of like an Animal Crossing right now, just like fucking off to like an island somewhere in the middle. Basically, we all want to be like what Jeff Bezos is doing in real life.
Yeah.
But like in a video game, because we're not fucking rich and we can't fuck off to it.
Yeah, you want to go to your own virtual island and hang out. But then they're going to realize that Tom Nook is just scamming the fuck out of you and everyone's going to get upset, right? So, yeah. I'm
very excited for that. I mean, you guys can just rip up some shit in Doom. Like,
well, I have to wait for a collector's edition on Doom because I'm not going to buy the game twice on Friday, just to play early on stream. So I'll be checking out Animal Crossing for 2 hours and seeing how much I hate it.
Yeah.
or what I like forming my own opinion by actually playing the game rather than just looking at it.
I'm going to go into it with the attitude of I hate it.
Yeah.
And I dare it to change my mind.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much any game at the beginning of the streams. So,
you know what? That is actually fair for you, JP. That is actually fair. You start off on the hate and the game has to impress you, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I try and start neutral.
Nah.
I mean, I have biases, of course.
Yeah.
Like just from environment and upbringing and that kind of shit. But I try and stay as neutral as possible. JP's like, I hate it until I love it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
I love every game until I hate it, which is heartbreaking.
That is true. You're on the opposite spectrum because you can look, you go, man, they must have really worked hard on this.
Yeah.
You can
and
respect
there you go.
the craft.
Yep, and there you go, but it sucks. And then you're sad for the rest of the evening. It's
Yeah,
not
see, I don't
great.
get heartbroken by games. I just get upset. There's a difference. I guess angry is better than upset.
I guess. I don't know. I'm just excited that there's 2 really good games, it seems, coming out now.
Yeah.
Actually, in the Netherlands, everybody broke street date because the largest Dutch game store is closing tomorrow.
Oh,
for
God.
the virus.
Oh, yeah.
So to give everybody their pre-order, they're just like, come pick it up today. We're going to be closed for months.
That's awesome.
So
Zeke's going to
eBay.
Yeah.
yeah.
So by the time that actually ships, you still won't get it till Friday.
Very true. Yeah, it's got to go overseas. Yeah,
I guess if it's
that.
a digital copy, but yeah.
€2 eBay then.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just time for some good video games. It's really
We're in the
there's a
thick of
bunch
it
of good
now.
stuff out there. I've been playing Destiny. I've been enjoying Destiny as always.
How's that new league, by the way, or the new season? Sorry, to use the proper term. Yeah.
It's a little. I don't know. Like the interesting thing is that they keep trying new stuff. Like they're clearly trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with this game because whatever they do, it's not like what people want,
right?
Despite them frequently doing exactly what people ask.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're figuring it out. They're exploring. They're redoing a bunch of stuff from the previous season, which is not great, and they just made it slower. Like, here's the thing: everything so far has been pretty good. Story's pretty good. The grind is grindy. The things you do are grindy. The one thing that pissed me off infinitely is that there's this system where you buy upgrades for these bunkers. And one of the upgrades makes the other upgrades cheaper. And as a game designer, that's like you were fucking lazy and Friday afternoon, somebody said, okay, you have to come up with 6. You had 5 good ideas and you went, oh, fuck it. I'll make one that makes the other ones cheaper. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Like, it's
just a way to add to the grind, right? Like that's all it is.
It's just the least inspired way of adding to the grind. At least do something fun. Like I'm just, ugh. And then somebody did the math, and it turns out if you don't buy it, you're actually done faster. But you still have to buy it because of some other meta layer. Yeah, because it's expensive. So if you buy everything,
Jesus,
it's more. Anyway, fuck whoever. Like, you know what? Not fuck whoever, but like, I'm fucking upset that this happened.
Sure.
Also, I respect that designer for probably doing a really hard job with limited resources and time, but also shit. Come on, like anything else.
Sure, makes sense. Makes sense.
Anyway, it's pretty good so far.
Destiny for me is I'm just waiting for the next raid to come out. Like the like seasonal event. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I really enjoyed that raid, and I really enjoyed it. Like going through that the first week and learning that shit with other people. It was a lot of fun. So
raiding is the greatest thing. Yeah.
Back on board with the raid. I still have that dumb fucking jacket that I don't know if I'm going to get that jacket.
The Garden of Salvation?
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be here this summer because of how the world is right now. And I don't know if that's just going to be made.
June.
Okay.
I think. They're saying that they're sending it in June. At least in my email, that's what they said.
Yeah. I guess
I'll take the jacket.
That comes through. Yeah, I think wasn't that thing like $300 or some stupid fucking shit. It's the most expensive jacket that I own, and it's for Destiny.
Yeah, and it's like green on the inside, like
it's kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly.
Oh.
It's a little ugly. So
yeah. But I fought for that jacket. It's so clever. It makes me angry, but like good angry. I'm like, I will buy that jacket because it's a good memory.
Yeah,
but also it's like. How expensive a memory? That's an expensive memory.
It's a little pricey. Yeah. The other thing that I thought was in there, Doom, Animal Crossing, and Persona all had their review embargo already come up this week, and Persona 5 Royale seems to be the best reviewed game of the year so far. It's like at a 96 or 97, some
I'll
absurd
believe
rating.
it.
So,
I mean, Persona 5 was already really good.
yeah. I never, I think most viewers know this, but I never finished past where Atlas was threatening to like DMCA people. So
Oh yeah.
I'll be jumping into Persona 5 Royale probably at the end of April.
Are they doing the same thing with this one, or did they?
I haven't
learn
heard
the lesson?
otherwise. I'm gonna ignore it this time because they didn't do shit the last time that it came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And if
I mean,
it'd be really stupid if they're like, all right, you can't stream past the third castle because we know the full game's already out a year ago and this stuff's already been captured by 1,000 people. But this new game is a little different, so we're not gonna let you spoil it. Fuck off! I'm gonna stream the game.
I have honestly not been that baffled by any decision made by a game company as much as that one, because they shot themselves in the foot, but it was like an unforced error.
Yeah.
Like nobody was asking for them to do anything, and they just went like, "Yo, let me just tell you, we're gonna piss you the fuck off, and we're gonna do it right now." Like,
Well, that was
don't
what,
stream this game.
2 years ago.
Everybody knew that streaming was a thing. It was not like they were like. It was not like they were looking at the world and go like, "Well, this streaming thing, nobody cares about it." Like,
Well,
no.
Japan was looking at the world like that 2 years ago.
I feel even Japan was a little more ahead. I don't know what happened
It was
there.
3
but
years ago.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A little bit weird, but
Oh.
and then Doom Eternal seems to be really fun. Co was streaming some this morning. I think Dan's streaming it right now. Looks to be really good. Looks to be like more Doom, more fun. So if you're into that stuff.
I heard more vertical, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot more platforming, or at least an emphasis on platforming in this one, which is fine.
Rip and tear and precision jumping. That's,
Yeah,
that's what they say about Doom.
I think I'm okay with that. That seems fine. I'll be into it. I'll probably play that. So yeah, but I think with that we can call it a show. So that's it.
Wow,
we're done. Zeke, you want to
I
do
just
some
got my
shout-outs?
copy from my guys, my Doom guys.
Oh, nice.
Excited to play it.
Yeah.
Probably won't play it on stream though.
You get it now. When you don't play a game like that on stream, does that mean you're playing on a TV with a controller?
No. I'm
Oh,
still
you'll just-
like if it's
If it's a
If
PC
it's like
game or a FPS game?
yeah. No, I'll still play it as optimally as possible if it's something that would benefit from optimization, like something like Doom with a sight and the sound and the motion and that kind of stuff. I'll play it on my nice setup, but like something like or something that doesn't require a controller. If it requires a controller, I'm in bed.
Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Like doing that. Like I'll play Nioh in bed. I'll play Ori in bed.
Cool. Zeke, why don't you do some shout outs for us?
I will. I'd love to. Thank you guys very much. Oh, look at that. Eee. I'm what's up there? I'm just kidding. Thank you guys very much for tuning in today. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you, Rami, for joining us today, and thank you, JP and Co. who's not here for being my co-host and guest and all that shit. If you want to catch me, I will not be broadcasting after the show tonight. I will be. I thought I was going to be in the role-playing show, but I'm actually not in it this week. I'm in it next week for a new tabletop RPG called Gone. If you want to check it out, it's appearing, or it's third episode will be starting in, I think, 40 minutes. I want to say 40 minutes from now, but I will be in it next week. But it has a great cast of characters. A lot of people from Nocturne, if you watched any of that show. But this iteration, the main characters are played by Brad Woto, Elspeth Eastman, and John Sandman. Great characters, great environment. GM by Pumpkinberry. But if you want to watch more video games, guess what? I'm playing tomorrow at noon Pacific. Yep, that is Persona 4 Golden. I'm still continuing on. I think I'm probably about 60, 70% done with it. So hopefully even in the next couple of weeks, maybe we can get it done. But who cares? Because I'm inside anyways.
Yeah, you got a lot of
All I
time.
got.
You got nothing but time. Rami, you want to do some shout outs for us? Tell people what's going on. Pimp your your Steam sale out.
Oh yeah. If you're, oh wait, no. Okay, you know what? I give up. Yep, I make video games. If you want to play a video game, I have a video game that's now $1 because of the whole virus thing and everybody being locked inside. We thought it would be nice to give everybody a video game, but it turns out that Steam doesn't allow us to let us give you a video game, so it's still $1. It is called Nuclear Throne. It's available on Steam. If you want to keep track of what I'm up to, developing games, follow me on Twitter. It's right there on the screen. And I'll probably be live streaming a bit more, probably when Doom or Animal Crossing comes out. I've been awake for like 26 hours now.
Go to sleep.
Okay.
What have you been up so much for?
Okay.
Just hanging out? You wanted to stay up for the show? You couldn't wait to watch Mark Cerny talk to you for an hour? Like literally just talk to you? The only person that could make sense of the PS5 conversation today?
Schedule keeps shifting, and since my day is completely empty, I just don't know when the day starts or ends. It's been great.
It makes sense.
This is a good end.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll listen to you say some words.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do shout outs here real quick. I'm going to be playing more Nioh 2 after this. We got to kill this dumb fucking mosquito pig boss that's just a piece of... If you want to hear me talk really fondly about Nioh 2, I'll be streaming it right after this. It'll be a fun time. And then we'll probably try to finish up that game tomorrow. I think I'm about halfway through, maybe a little bit more than that. And then Friday, I think we're going to start with Animal Crossing. And then since Bethesda hates me, I had to buy a game. I know, it's ridiculous. I had to fucking use my own money and buy a game. In 2020, as a streamer, it just makes absolutely no sense. But we'll be playing it whenever I get my physical version and later. So that'll be on Friday after everyone else has already finished the game. It'll be great. I can't wait to have all the backseaters in chat. I'm not upset at all or anything. That's it for Drop Frames. Ko, thanks for being an ass. We're glad you could be here, and that joke still plays. We'll be back next week with more, talking about Doom, Animal Crossing, Half-Life Alyx. I'll be playing that on Monday.
At least put Ko's shout out screen up with the ass.
It doesn't have the ass. It just has this.
That also looks pretty good.
I mean, Ko's not here, so.
Oh, and follow DJ Wheat, right?
Yeah. Make sure to follow DJ Wheat.
DJ Wheat.
Yeah, twitch.tv/DJ Wheat. Give him a follow.
Or my mom. You can also follow my mom on Twitch.
Yeah,
That's
if you
like
want.
an actual thing.
Yeah, follow Rami's mom.
She always likes it when she gets new followers. Makes her really
What's her channel?
Mom vs FFXV. Mom versus Final Fantasy 15.
There it
It's
is.
just linked in chat. Yeah, Kojak.
Oh no, it wasn't. That's not the right link.
Nope.
Mom plays.
What?
It's Mom vs versus
FFXV. Yeah, she's been playing video games. It's like she just finished Nier Automata because
Why not? And it's a good game. Great sound.
it's a very good game.
Yeah. So,
Her
all right.
thoughts on
Yeah.
stuff is funny.
Sleep.
That's it. Rami,
All
go
right.
to sleep. Zeke, I don't know what you're gonna do. Go put that toilet paper on the corner and.
Man, I knew I should have said anything.
No, I don't.
I mean, it's so kind.
Look, it was a
It's
great
such a
idea, and it
kind,
came from the right
friendly
place.
thing.
It's just
Yeah.
people are gonna think
Well-
you're a little weird for putting toilet paper on the corner. You know?
True.
Just go donate it.
Yeah, donate it somewhere.
Yeah, maybe I will.
It's good. Do
We're out.
good thing.
We're done. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay the fuck away from people. Don't touch each other
So done.
Or your face.
or your face. Bye. We'll see you next week.